Statistics don't say black systemic racism is real. They don't say that.
Yeah, they do.
No, statistics don't talk. You talk. You make the bullshit interpretation up in your mind.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say. You're just saying numbers. Like, you literally just walked into this, dude. Come on. Statistics don't say anything. It's the people who say it. And that the people are biased and they hate white people.
And pull this up. All right, Baylor. Is that how you say it?
Beheller.
Beheller. Okay, Beheller. How did you find my channel? You just stumbled upon it and then just started trolling me.
I just started leaving comments and stuff. It's been a fun watch, man.
Here, let me
watching it progress over the last week.
I'm gonna grab my phone charger real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, I like having hecklers in the chat. It's always nice. Have someone to disagree with. I don't like echo chambers.
I mean, you call yourself a conservative and then you just agree with everything every lefty says.
Yeah, for like I said, I still like acknowledge data and science and history, and that doesn't mean that my values are different. I'm not a Republican, but my conservative values are still the same. So like my prescriptive policies will be different than what other conservatives believe is the best option. But like, you know, still believing in Christianity and community and
like believing in Christianity is not like a left and right thing. It's just a religion.
Sure. But it is a conservative thing. Like it's like a main tenet of conservatism is to believe that our morals are inherent and given to us by a higher power. That like the reason we want to conserve traditions and things like that is because it's not just about us, but it's about something greater than us. And the reason like it's a huge contention with these lefties is because they want to change all of those things because they're not religious. And like some of them, sure, they are religious, but I don't think that they actually like that has much to do with their actual values within the world. You know, it's
they're like anti-religious, right?
Yeah, like
why would you align yourself with anti-religious people if you say you're a Christian or something?
I mean, I still have a lot of disagreements with them. I have debates with them on almost a daily basis, and have lots.
But then agree with them at the end of the day
on lots of things. Yeah,
and tread water for them.
I agree with them on a lot of things. Yes, I don't think that I agree with them on anything that actually, like, that hurts my values or that goes against my values or conservative values. Like, depending on how conservative you want to be, yeah, like I can see these things becoming issues. Like if you want to like conserve white culture, or if you want to conserve there's lots of things to where like, yeah, sure. I think in general, I want to conserve tradition that isn't hurting anything. If it hurts something, then maybe, like, as long as it doesn't hurt my religion or my religious values, then I'm okay with progress in those areas. But I don't want the change for the sake of change. And I think lots of times lefties will push for change just for the sake of change, just because it's different or just because it's not religious. They want to change it now. Those are the areas that I'm going to disagree with them most on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I usually tune out of the ones where you talk about whether you're conservative or not. Those like day-long streams.
Yeah, those conversations are getting a little old to me too, because it just doesn't seem like they even think that conservatism is a list of values. Like almost every time it gets to a point where they say like, but conservatism isn't even about values. And then like the conversation's pretty much a moot point at that, like at that juncture. Like there's no reason to even keep saying or keep trying to talk to them about anything if they don't even understand that like being liberal, being progressive, being conservative, like these things are all about like your axioms and values and not about like prescriptive policies. So yeah, it's getting old for me as well.
Yeah, that stuff stinks.
So what I guess what do you think that like what is something that I agree with them on, or what is something that I advocate for that you feel would go against my conservative values or just conservative values in general? Because I think it's obvious that you and I have different conservative values, but I think they're still both conservative values, right?
Like, I wouldn't even say I'm conservative in the right and left sense of our country, because in our country, it's not really left right, it's political theater of the same thing.
Oh, this is the like Republicans and Democrats are pretty much the same thing aside from like a couple small differences.
Much. That's all they do. You only vote once every 4 years. You talk about it for money. In between that, it's just all a big old grift. Unless you're sitting on a city council or something, or doing something every day, it's just.
Do you know what horseshoe theory is?
Yeah, it's a Sargon concept.
I mean, it's not a Sargon concept, but I guess it's something that Sargon believes in. It's something that I believe in. It's something that I get into it with lefties on a lot. Like, I think that the closer to the center you are, yeah, the more alike you are. We still have a bunch of differences in how we want to deal with things, but for the most part, our values come from like the Enlightenment period and like the way that we want countries to run and the way that we want people to get along. Most of that comes from the Enlightenment period, but the the people who are more extreme are obviously going to look at all of us as very similar. Though I look at
Dude, if
people.
you read a book, all this shit that you guys are talking about was discussed to death 100 fucking years ago, and then like 50 fucking million people died, and now we're talking about it again.
Like what?
It's not real. Socialism shit.
Oh, I mean, I don't like socialism.
Here, sock them.
That's
Social Democrat.
Yeah, a social democrat is not a democratic socialist. Like, there's a difference between dem sock and sock dem for a reason. Democratic socialists are socialists who
Who cares about labels? Who gives a fuck? You're right.
I mean, we're talking about labels though. Like, okay, so I when it comes to socialism, I would say that people who are socialists want the workers to own the means of production, and I think that that's stupid. I think that workers are normally stupid. I don't think that they have the capability of running a business. I don't think they have the capability of having a say on a business. Normally there's people with degrees and experience and training and all of those other things, which is why they run the businesses. I don't want a bunch of cashiers deciding how a Walmart works, right? So like, yeah, I think that socialism is pretty dumb. I think that there should be social policies though, like where the government can use money to help in certain areas of the world or of the United States. Otherwise, I don't know what the government is there for if they're not there to help their citizens. Would you are you like what kind of economic system do you believe in?
I don't believe in economic systems. Like, what do I believe in?
Yeah, like, are you like an ANCAP?
No, I'm like, I guess we're in the capitalist one, so I guess I'm a capitalist, but I just don't care. Like, I'm a grill guy.
What does that mean?
At the end of the day, I work, I do my thing, I enjoy my life, man.
Okay.
But I hate the anti-white shit that you spread.
I'm not anti-white though. Like, I own the
Well,
white label. They call me white, and I
fucking
own it.
ACO, dude. You simp for ACO all the fucking time.
I think it's funny to make fun of each other. Like, I don't think that that's a
You
problem.
don't make fun of her. You just take it.
No, I also make fun of her, but I make fun of her for her white takes and for what she says. We've had long conversations about it to where I tell her, like, the way she uses it is racist. I personally don't care. I don't take racism against me like offensively, and therefore I personally don't care. And so then if
you make it acceptable, you believe that you making it by joking about it, make it acceptable, right?
no, so like what I said to her is
So
that if other
the
people
N-word
find it
in
offensive,
private.
yeah, if what I said to her is if other people find it offensive, then it's still immoral. Like, it's still a problem. But I personally don't care. So like, there are people out there who say like, hey, yeah, man, my white friends say the N-word. I don't care. I'm not offended by it. And so their white friends do say the N-word around them all the time. And other black people get offended by it and they get upset about it. And they're like, hey, you're making this thing acceptable. But within their circles, they don't really care. Do you see a problem with that?
You think whiteness exists?
Whiteness
is anti-white.
So whiteness is like saying that white supremacy kind of controls the United States, and that we all grow up in a world, or in a world, like, meaning the United States, the world that we live in, it being controlled mostly by white people, and then therefore we get used to things being majority white and controlled by white people.
Yeah, that's what whiteness is defined as on Wikipedia. Good, correct, but it's not real. And saying and not talking about it, but
I mean, you said before that you
the idea of whiteness, like, it's an invisible force. It's like the god of the gaps. It's you because a statistical difference because of racism is whiteness.
You said before that you think that tribalism is a good thing, right?
It's inherent and it's what is natural.
True. I don't just think it's inherent and natural, but I also think it's a good thing. But
well, like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, but most white liberals and leftists are anti-white because they have an out-group bias. They dislike white people. Aiko and her crew that she hangs around. Like, the person who ambushed you yesterday. I mean, you took it well. You deflected all, like, she like literally attacked you based on your race. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take it. And it's bullshit, dude. And you know it.
I don't remember who did this yesterday. What did
Lost 2 came in with?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I wasn't happy about that. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. Like, I'm not, if I react like and get super upset, then I'm doing the same thing.
You didn't react or get super upset, but I'm just saying you're being trained right now to take it.
Yeah. Like, we had a long conversation yesterday about how racism, and some shortly today about how racism doesn't affect white people the same. I still spoke out against it and still said that it was like racist and that they're doing harm to their own causes by acting this way and saying these sorts of things. And I had that same long conversation with Aiko as well, to say, like, whether you think it affects me or not, it's still immoral and it's still wrong to do. And that's why, like, even in the conversation with her and I'm Really Important, she even said at one point, she's like, you know what, I'm sorry, like, you're right, Tom, I shouldn't be saying this anymore, and I keep saying it anyways. Like, I'm not gonna control her speech or get upset about what she says. but I've already had the conversation with her and made her like understand that like how I feel about it and how it actually works within a moral system, and she understands and she says she's working on it. Like I think that so far I've done my part.
I didn't watch most of the conversation. I was saying, I just watched the part where she came in, was pretty hot on you. You worked it well. Well, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do because you can't say anything to her or you'd be kicked off of Twitch.
Yeah,
You even said one word.
that's true. Yeah, like it's a lot harder.
And us acknowledging this will make them mad. You understand that, right?
Yeah. Like the first night that her and I met, she kept calling me white or saying that I had white takes. And I kept like getting more and more upset saying, what does that mean? Like when you say that, what does that mean? And the more I did it, the more everybody
that she doesn't like you and she wants to delegitimize what you say. It's called being racist, Tom.
Sure, but when she starts saying like, and I disagree with her when she says this, but when she starts saying like, I'm white too, I have my own whiteness.
She's not white. She
I know
says she's Jewish and Asian.
I agree.
You say you're half Cherokee, which no one gives a shit about and laughed at you about.
Sure. Again, I'm not saying that like I agree with her on that. I started off by saying I disagree with her on the way she says that she's white, but when she also says I'm white as well. So when I say these things, I'm also talking about myself. It kind of takes that power away as if she's talking down to me. Do you disagree with that?
Why associate people who hate you based on your race?
I don't think they hate me. I think that they misunderstand the way that they use labels.
They think they can use you is what they can do because you're on Twitch and you basically agree and simp to them.
Yeah, again, for me personally, it just doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, I think it's pretty similar to like calling people the A word, like an a-hole, right? Like, if it hurts their feelings and it makes them upset, most people aren't going to stop doing it. They're still going to keep doing it. It doesn't have the same like systemic, I guess
you can like being degraded if you like. It just looks pathetic.
I guess maybe like I'm
telling you right now, it does. Like that's why I'm making fun of you.
Sure, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like
I know that. That's why I'm I joke with you in the chat too.
Yeah,
send you funny videos. It's just like it doesn't matter.
I was just about to say that.
But the anti-white shit does matter because you accept it, you propagate it.
So, what do you think the outcome from that is going to be?
More racism against white people, of course.
What do you mean more racism? What racism is there against white people outside of them saying words that hurt people's feelings?
Anti-white killings,
like what?
Stuff you can look up, Tom.
I've looked stuff up. Like I don't see like anti-white hate crimes.
They're in the FBI statistics. They're like quadruple, like 20 times the one whites do against blacks.
Actual hate crimes, or like just the amount of times that
the times they murder them, Tom.
That's totally different. We're the majority of the United States. Of course, they're going to murder us.
They do 50% per capita, Tom. Do you know what per capita means?
Yes, I understand what 1350 is, but then
why don't you understand it in this situation? Now you're tippy-toeing and walking on the cracks.
I'm not. I acknowledge that black people have a much higher crime rate and murder rate within the United States, but I think it's due to a systemic structure that puts them in these situations. I don't think that when white people murder black people, it's because of unless it's because
you don't think any of it's hateful. None of it is.
No, I think some of it is, but I think
so. You don't think 50% of the murders?
No, not 50%
aren't hateful of it.
No, I don't think that. When they have 50% of the murders, I don't think all of those are hate crimes towards white people. Definitely not.
No, I'm not saying that either.
So you're saying maybe half of the murders. You're saying like 50% of their murders might be hate crimes.
Of course.
I think that still would be highly disproportionate to like hate crimes in general all over the world. Like maybe like 2% of them.
Fucking cares, Tom?
You do. You brought it up. What do you mean? Who cares? You brought it
Saying
up.
the world. Who's talking about the world?
Or in the United States. Or in the United States, like hate crimes in general in the United States are like 2% of murders. So to say,
And they do 50% of them.
okay, so take 2% of
They're
that
the most
50%.
hateful murderers, Tom.
But dude, you're saying 50% of the murders, not of the hate crimes. You can't conflate the two statistics and act like they're the same thing. 2%.
I'm not conflating any statistics. I'm just telling you.
2% of that 50% can be hate crimes. Yeah, sure. That's
all I'm saying. You're the one who's just dancing around it saying I'm conflating statistics. That's all I'm saying. You're the one saying it can't be done.
No,
That's
I didn't say it can't
highly
be done.
improbable.
I didn't say that. You kept making it sound like all of their murders against white people are hate crimes, and I'm saying no, not all of them. Maybe
Never
like 2%
said
of
that.
them.
Never said that.
Okay, so let's say 2% of them are hate crimes. That's still not a huge problem for white people to where we're like afraid for our lives.
Still have all the anti-white propaganda that's going on. Still have all that shit that's pumped out every day nonstop.
I don't think that like anti-racism is the same thing as anti-white. So when we talk about whiteness, it's anti-racism.
Do you like Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility, Tom?
No, that's the whole thing is bullcrap.
Then that's the whole basis of fucking anti-racism, dude.
It's not. Most lefties will tell you it's bullcrap.
Yeah, it is.
Most lefties will tell you her book is bullcrap. It's a corporate shill book. Like the whole thing is stupid. It's trying to sell more books. That's all. Or sell more classes for corporate.
What part do you agree with? Like the Ibram Kendi part? Like
that white fragility. The white fragility in general is a real thing to where
not even white fragility. Just say any of the anti-racist dogma.
Like when white people get upset when you talk about whiteness, that's white people get really fragile about it. That is white fragility.
I mean, that I'm saying. Talk about the white. You don't agree with white fragility, fine. But what is the anti-white stuff that you? I mean, the anti-racist stuff that you do agree with.
I mean, like I just said, like whiteness in general is a real thing. White supremacy is a real thing. Being the majority.
Like the way you define what is white supremacy? Are white people think that they're better?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, the reason why.
Better, Tom. No one thinks they're better. Like 0 people are going around talking that they're better. I haven't heard that once in my life.
Okay.
Maybe you did in prison, but it's not happening out here.
If you disagree with something I say, like I want you to cut me off, but I haven't gotten through like a full sentence every time you ask me a question before you've interrupted me. When it comes to like racism in general, or even like white supremacy in general, we look at like colonialism taking over countries, putting the minorities into slavery, or pretty almost genociding them completely. The situations that the Native Americans are in currently, and we had this long conversation about Native Americans yesterday, and I was kind of telling them like, hey, like I think your requests are unrealistic, but I still think that we can live together and like get along. Like I'm not fully on board with the super woke stuff. I still think that like there's a level of unrealistic requests in there. And then I get called racist for it, like you said.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is. And I push back against it. But I don't.
What was the part that you agreed with? You agreed with whiteness?
Yeah, like white supremacy. That.
Well, who's talking about white supremacy? The KKK. There's no KKK anymore.
That's what whiteness is. That's what whiteness is. It's saying like white supremacy, like believing that you're better than others and that you should have
saying
more
that.
rights than them.
Show me who's saying that, and I'll say that's a white supremacist with you.
In general, white people in America get along a lot better than most minorities. And
That's
there
an
are,
in-group reference, Tom. We just talked about that. Keep talking about what we were just talking about.
yes, that doesn't mean that the systemic racism within that doesn't exist.
We created the system.
True, white people.
Yeah, people weren't allowed to come in until 1965, and then we changed the law to help them out.
Right. And we still have lingering things that are hurting the minorities, and we just want to fix those lingering things. It's not saying that.
What thing? What what do we need to do?
So you were there when I talked to another guy about systemic racism, and in the end, like, he kind of agreed that it existed, right? So we can
I was listening to that one, dude. I was out. I was working.
Okay, so we can look at things like welfare, right? Having a single parent household is demonstrably worse than growing up in a two-parent household. Do we agree on that?
Black people don't have good family structure. We agree.
Okay. And the government runs welfare, and within welfare,
And it's terrible.
it is terrible. Yes. And within welfare, they incentivize single mothers to not have a second parent within the household, which is majority Black women, or disproportionately Black women. So they are incentivizing Black women to not have father figures within the household, which hurts kids growing up, which means they're more likely to commit crimes, drop out of school, not keep a stable job, have kids out of wedlock, those sorts of things. So the government in that situation is incentivizing single parent households that hurts the Black community. I don't think it's on purpose, but it's still the outcome in the end, and it's something that I would like to fix.
Cool speech, bro, dude. Like, who cares?
You asked. You can.
I didn't ask that. I didn't ask your definition of anything, dude.
Not
You just
definition.
get to a whole fucking spiel about nothing.
No, not definition. You asked me what it is that what sorts of white supremacy are still being propagated today.
That was white supremacy. That was, you just described welfare.
That disproportionately hurts minorities.
It doesn't just there.
You there?
Okay, like, so you want to just remove welfare?
That's one thing, yes.
Okay.
All right. Then
Like, I just don't care. Like, it just doesn't bother me. All I care about is just there's too much anti-white shit going on.
right, but this is when you call it anti-white, this is what we're talking about. These are the things that we're advocating for. These are the things that we want changed. And then when you ask, like, well, what is it that you're advocating for? And I tell you, then you say, well, I don't care. This is what we're talking about. It's not racist. It's not saying white people are bad. It's not saying white people are trying to hurt Black people.
I never said anything you advocate. Oh, wait. I never said what you just said was.
I'm saying in general, like when I say we, like in general, when we talk about whiteness or systemic racism or things like this is normally what we're talking about or what we're advocating for. So like we can look at redlining, we can look at slavery, we can look at
telling me that when people say eliminate whiteness and abolish whiteness, they're saying get rid of welfare?
Yes, that's exactly.
No, they are fucking not.
Yes, they are.
That's fucking crazy.
No, when they say whiteness, it means white supremacy.
They're saying that lefties are, when they're like abolish whiteness, they're saying get rid of the health welfare system.
I think there are some people like the ones who came on last night and started yelling at me for being racist, that those people are probably not thinking that far into it. But yes, most people, when they talk about these things, that is what they're talking about, whether on the left or the right. I think that those people hurt the rest of us by the way that they talk about these things, and I think that
This
those
is an
people are
amazing
racist.
me that no one can define, but race is not real, even though you can see it. Phenotypes are real, Tom.
Phenotype. So is Obama black?
Yes, he's black.
All right, but like most of his
Is
ancestry is
Jackson
white. Most of his ancestry is white. So why is he black? He's like a minority of his genetics are African. So why is he black?
Have you asked any black people if he was black?
The point is that looking at him is what makes him black, not his genetics, not his phenotypes. It's looking at him, which means it's a social construct. We assume all of these other things with it, that he has African phenotypes and genetics and all, DNA and all of that. But in reality, all we're doing is looking at him and making an assumption. We're not doing DNA tests to figure out whether or not he has the right phenotypes to be called black. Making race a social construct. Do you disagree with that? Do you disagree with what I just said as far as race being a social construct?
Is it like it's a word we made up to tell people apart? Then yes, it's a social construct.
Okay.
But it's also real because there's black people. We talk about it, dude.
It correlates to real things in the world.
On the census.
Yeah, it correlates to real things in the world.
People are discriminated every day based on it.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it not real? It's more real than whiteness is.
Because we don't actually know what it is we're talking about when we say these things. Like
yeah, you don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about whiteness. You're talking about some weird, vague concept that blankets everything in our society based on our skin color, dude. You're fucking talking bananas.
I mean, I think that there's issues with black supremacy in Africa too. It's not just our country; it's countries with majority of a certain race.
I have the same racial views as Patrice O'Neill does. I'm not racist. I'm racial. I see what for what it is.
So you don't have issues with Jewish people?
No, not at all. They're very funny people. I'm very good at banking.
Why are they good at banking?
I think it traces back to Babylon and Judea. But you have to learn more than 300 years of history, Tom.
But they've only been good at banking for about 300 years.
No, it's been about 2,000, at least, according to the Bible.
In the Bible, the Jews were the bankers?
I think so, weren't they, in Judea?
I mean, everybody in Judea
I can't remember. I don't remember the Bible.
The way
I remember Roman history.
Yeah, the way that Jews got into banking is in the United States and in Europe. Banking was considered sinful by the Catholic Church, and so white Christian people weren't allowed to.
I mean, this is like newer, revised history that they say all the time, but it just like it goes back to like Roman times, dude. It talks. Have you read any books about Rome?
If you have, I would be happy to hear what it is that happened in Rome to make Jews be bankers in 2021.
Why didn't say that? It's just like something they've done. It's like a cultural thing. It's talked about in the Talmud.
What right, that's what I'm asking. What makes it a cultural thing? Because that's what I was
I just
explaining is why it was a
what made it a
cultural thing.
cultural thing. I just told you.
You said that it goes back to Rome, but what part in Rome makes it go back to that? Like, what makes it a cultural thing?
Money changing, usury, other stuff. Like, just they have a long history of it.
Why do they have a long history of it? Like, when did they get into banking?
Why? I don't know, Tom. Why did they?
I was just explaining it, and you said it goes back farther than that. So if I can't explain why I think they got into banking, I would like to hear your reason for why they got into banking.
I don't want to explain the whole fucking history to you. I don't care.
Okay, you don't care.
Yep.
So we talked about welfare, mentioned redlining. So is systemic racism a thing?
What'd you say? You said you talked about redlining and what?
And welfare. So is systemic racism a thing?
So are you saying Lyndon B. Johnson, the Democrat, was a racist for implementing those?
Again, I wasn't saying that anybody did it on purpose. I said that a couple of times, that this is just the way it works out. These are the outcomes.
So Jews are just the way they are because of the outcomes.
Right, but I can explain why these are the outcomes and how this was put into place. And I can also explain why Jews got into banking and why this is the case.
Yeah, and Lyndon B. Johnson started welfare and all those other stuff.
Correct.
Just how it is, I guess.
So is systemic racism a thing?
Probably not. It just sounds like bullshit.
What part?
The structural systemic systems of structural racism part.
So we already agreed that like welfare has disproportionate outcomes on Black people.
Like I said, it's a racism of the gaps. Disproportionate shit doesn't mean it's racist.
No. Again, like when we say,
I mean, is diabetes racist because it affects more Black people?
it's systemically racist. Yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Diabetes is systemically racist. It's white supremacy.
It's not white supremacy, but it
is whiteness, though.
It's not whiteness. When we
I
talk
can
about,
guarantee you can find your friend Aiko to disagree with you, but
I'm not representing ICO right now. I've said numerous times there are lots of lefties with really cringe takes on these things, and they hurt what it is that I advocate for in the meantime. Like I agree with that part. The same as I talk to people like you who I disagree with. I would rather continue to advocate for the things that I believe in, just like I talk to them and I disagree with them, and I will continue to advocate for the things that I believe in.
that was your speech.
Is there something you want to say?
No, I was just saying, are you done with your little speech? And virtue signaling about shit.
So systemic racism means that there's disproportionate outcomes, not that people are purposefully hurting Black people, but that the outcome.
When was that term made up?
I want to say probably like 20 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it's bullshit. Just like your gender shit was bullshit because it was made up by a pedophile.
So pedophiles can't make things up.
Yeah, they could. Like, no one's saying they couldn't make things up, but
Let's say a pedophile goes to school and is a great scientist and becomes the best scientist ever, and then discovers the atom. Is the atom no longer a thing because they were a pedophile?
I'm gonna say you make really shitty hypotheticals though.
I'm asking for you to substantiate your position by refuting what it is that I'm saying. So it means that there's racist outcomes, not that people are purposefully hurting Black people or that racist people are trying to make Black people hurt. Systemic racism means that there are outcomes that hurt them more than others because of systems that we've put into place. And if we don't change those systems, it will continue to hurt them disproportionately compared to other people. Not that racist people put those systems into place, but that.
I mean, who would put those systems into place, Tom?
I mean, during like times of slavery, during Jim Crow, sure, there were racist people, but currently we still put systems into place that disproportionately hurt them because we don't know that the outcomes will be that way. Like we can't foresee.
Disproportionately hurt any group at different times. It's not like, I mean, if it's trying to be unilaterally helpful, people didn't know welfare was going to be such a fucking big hookup, but they're so addicted to it they can't leave it. What do you want to do, Tom?
I mean, I want to try to fix those things so that they're not disproportionately hurting anybody.
Cool.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Who cares?
Okay. So systemic racism is a real thing, and we want.
No, I don't agree that it's a real thing.
Well, that's what we're talking about right now.
No, I was talking about the literal last statement you made, not about systematic racism, not your fucking bullshit.
Okay, so what part of systemic racism do you disagree with?
It's like another boogeyman. It's a racism of the gaps.
That is what you think about it, but that's not the part that you disagree with.
Because I don't think the bullshit way you think. Right, correct.
Right. So what part do you disagree with?
There's a made-up boogeyman that's out to hurt Black people.
That's what you think about systemic racism. I want to know what part of systemic racism you disagree with.
I just told you just a second ago.
All right. So redlining. We make it
I don't care about redlining, dude. I'm fucking from Flint. I'm by Detroit. I know all about it, dude.
Do you disagree that redlining disproportionately hurts Black people?
I don't care about redlining. Next question.
Okay. So white people lived in nice areas. Black people moved into those areas. All of the white people left, taking all of the funding for those areas with them, and those areas fell to crap, making all.
That's called white flight, right?
Uh-huh.
And then if white people move in, it's called gentrifying.
I mean, I think it's cool for white people to move in.
But it's called gentrifying, right?
It's gentrification, but yeah, it's.
So you can't do anything right as a white person.
I mean, are you talking about compared to CNN or compared to me?
I'm saying anything a white person does, they can't move away or move in.
Yeah, to some people, yes. I can't defend other people's views.
Thanks for agreeing with me.
Yeah. I can't defend other people's views here. I'm trying to understand your views, and I'm trying to get you to understand mine.
I'm telling you, I'm sick of anti-white shit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm explaining why I talk about what you
call
anti-white.
You're trying to explain to me what my eyes see as a mirage. No, but I'm trying to tell you, it's real, Tom. These people hate you.
So you're trying to tell me what my eyes see are a mirage?
I don't care that you're a half Cherokee, whatever.
Are you trying to tell me what my eyes see is a mirage?
The people you're hanging out with and telling you to hold this horse shit all night for like 9 hours a day is a mirage.
I got onto Twitch to talk to and debate with lefties.
No, you got them to beg for money.
But I don't beg for money.
That's what everybody on the internet does on Twitch, so by definition.
Okay. I mean, I haven't made $1 off of Twitch or my podcast or my.
Well, like, here's the thing: is like I'm happy that you're doing this and not like doing the things you were doing in your past. So it's like whatever, man. That's why I'm not calling you a grifter no more.
Well, I appreciate that. But you're.
I'm just anti-grifter, anti-white. I'm sick of all these stuff.
Right.
I'm anti-grifter. I hate the anti-white shit.
Right.
That's what I'm about.
I understand. And I'm trying to explain to you why I'm not against it, and then understand once I feel you understand why I'm not against it, I want to understand why you would still be against it. But if every time I explain my position, you say, "Well, I don't care about that," then like it doesn't. We don't.
Like, why should I give a fuck about redlining, dude? I work my 9 to 5. I do my thing. Why am I entrenched in redlining? History goes way past what you're not talking about. You guys are stuck in 300 years of history. White people were enslaved like while America was formed. Like you act like it doesn't exist.
Things past 300 years ago. What past 300 years ago do you think systemically still affects us today?
Class. But I don't care. Like, it just doesn't bother me because our politics is a farce at the moment. It's like fucking pro wrestling. So like, it's just like, I don't care about the left and right because at the end of the day, you can obviously tell by the fucking Democratic primaries that it's all bought and paid for. You're not getting your say in. You're going to have your old white man. You're going to like it. No matter how much you screech about it. And he's not going to give you the checks you wanted. But it's just how it's going to be.
And we shouldn't fight against that. We should just say
don't fight against it. I'm not saying that. But it's just like the talks on Twitch are just another sideshow. And I'm just saying, fucking like bowing down to ACO and all this anti-white shit is not helping. That's what I'm saying.
I think that over time, we make influences on people. I don't think I can have a 5-minute or hour or 3-hour conversation with somebody and influence them very much. But I think that over time, we can all have influences on. I get along with her. We have fun. She's a funny chick. I disagree with some of her takes. She disagrees with some of mine. But the two of us can still hang out with each other and disagree, and hopefully we'll influence one another at the same time.
It's chill. I get it. You got to get the clout, but
I mean, if I did it for clout,
I understand the game. Don't worry about it.
if I did it for clout, I would just be agreeing with her on literally everything, and I would never disagree with her. I wouldn't say, hey, the way you do this is immoral or wrong, or you're saying these things incorrectly. I would just say, hey, you're great. You're so good. Everything you do is the best. Right?
The reason why I don't care about the things, because Mary M says I have a privilege to not care, is because I've heard of these things a billion fucking times. It's all these people talk about. All the presentations are the same thing. You're saying the same thing as everybody else. It's boring. It's a broken record. It's on 24/7 on every channel. So no one's saying, you're not saying anything surprising either. So like, I heard it all. It's not that I don't have the privilege. I'm just saying it's boring. I don't care anymore.
I'm not denying that you see it 24/7 on every channel, but I rarely ever see it. Like, I might go weeks without seeing it.
Then why do you think having a white identity is going to be so out of there then?
What do you mean by that?
Having a white identity when everybody else is telling you to have one.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? You cut out at the beginning. You're saying why is it wrong? Why is it wrong to have a white identity?
Soon, the only game that's going to be played is identity politics. So why is it wrong to have a white identity, Tom?
I don't think it's wrong to have a white identity.
Whiteness is bad, and we have to destroy it.
Whiteness is not about your identity; it's about white supremacy.
Whiteness is literally built into the word.
Correct. It's also built into white supremacy.
No one's talking about white supremacy. Only you are.
But that's what whiteness is. And when you hear Aiko define it, she will also say it's white supremacy.
No, who's saying who's the white people saying that they're better than everyone else?
What do you mean?
Who are these people who are the white people saying I'm superior?
White supremacy isn't necessarily you thinking you're superior, it's taking over other places as if you're superior, or taking over other cultures, or taking over other countries.
Dude, they said fucking white supremacy is you going to church, Tom. What are you talking about?
I know.
Carry water for him now. Please, go ahead.
Say that again?
I said, please carry water for them now. That they said that going to church was fucking white supremacy. And now you're going to tell me here that
I've told you over and over, I can't defend their ideas. I disagree with them on a lot of these things. Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend things that I disagree with them on.
you're defending the concept of whiteness. That's what whiteness is. Whiteness is you going to church, Tom. It's you hanging out with your white friends.
You keep going from when I say whiteness or they say whiteness, we're talking about white supremacy. But then you go to what they say and then say, like, well, now defend this. And like, I'm not defending what they say. I'm talking about white supremacy. If they say that's white supremacy, then, like, that sucks for them. But obviously I go to church, so I disagree with them on that. I'm not going to defend that take.
You defend whiteness in the academic sense, which is you going to church.
It's not. That's not.
It is. It basically is, Tom. It's you hanging out or having any idea of a community of even with white people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid. But that's not white supremacy. When we talk about systemic racism and choosing not to fix these things, when we know that there's disproportionate outcomes, once we know that they are disproportionately affected by these things and we choose not to fix it, then yeah, I would say that's white supremacy. If we choose to ignore it.
Who's choosing to ignore it? The whole population?
You just said numerous times you don't care. So.
Oh, good. We can move on. Finally, Jesus.
Wait, what do you mean? You asked who's choosing to ignore it. I said you, and now you're saying, okay, we can move on. So are you a white supremacist then?
No, I don't think anyone's superior than anybody.
So then we should fix these things where they're disproportionately affected by them.
I don't believe in the racism of the gap, so no.
I don't either.
Good, so we're done with that then.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was a word game all along. Who knew? If you're this, you're then you're that. It's just like it's bullshit, dude. Who cares?
I care.
Yeah, I get it.
You care. You came on here to talk about it.
Because you don't think talking whiteness is it's just an anti-white shit. It's just anti-white.
So how does it actually hurt white people?
Oh, it creates division.
Not if white people are on board with it.
Not if everybody accepts your horse shit. Gotcha.
Well, if I could explain it to you, then maybe you'd stop calling it horse crap, and then maybe we could agree on it. But if I explain it to you and you don't say, I disagree, you say, well, maybe that's true, but I don't care about it, then yeah, like at that point, it's not about not accepting it. It's about you choosing to ignore it. Mary said, let's see. Can I ask a question? If a disabled person can't walk, should they be given a wheelchair to get around? So I guess she's asking if they should be given a wheelchair by the government or by people who are not handicapped, if they should try to help that person. What do you think? Is it, you said it's Baylor? Or Behaler?
So are you like pro quota or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Cool.
I mean, is there a scenario where you feel you could answer that question? She's saying like to try to leveling. Would we want to try to level the playing field for people who are disabled? Since the rest of us can get around more easily, would we want to give them wheelchairs to try to make it to where they can get around more easily?
Sure, I guess. Yeah. Give a disabled person a chair.
So when we talk about Black people being disproportionately affected by something, we should want to try to fix those things. And
We should help them based on their skin color, Tom.
if they're disproportionately affected based on their skin color, then yes.
I don't believe in that.
Huh?
I don't believe in doing programs based on people's skin color.
So what if there were...
Now that would be systematically racist if we did that.
Do you think that all racism is inherently bad?
Yeah, that's why I don't like anti-white shit.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that things can be racist without being bad. If we do something good for people based on their skin color, and those people based on their skin color are already hurt, like if I go and cut somebody based on their skin color, I think it would make sense for me to go get them a Band-Aid based on their skin color.
I don't think you should give programs to anybody based on their skin color, Tom.
Why?
Because it's just going to open Pandora's box to more shit in the future.
But the more stuff that we would do in the future is things that are good for people based on skin color.
What?
You're saying it would set precedent for things to be racist in the future. And I'm saying, yes, it would set precedent for us to do good things based on skin color in the future.
I'm pro MLK. Are you pro MLK? Are you pro his speech? Or you want to discriminate based on skin color? Because I'm pro MLK.
Yeah, I mean MLK was a cool dude, but I don't think he was right
talk about his
everything.
horseshit, but I'm pro MLK.
All right.
I'm a pro that speech. Are you pro that speech?
Nah.
So you're a bitch.
Well, yeah, I don't think MLK got everything right.
And you're a racist bitch, then.
I don't think he got everything right. I think that he was wrong about some things. I think what he advocated for was good. I don't think that he was correct on everything. He was also a socialist. Are you pro-socialism?
No, pro that speech, though. The message of that speech is rings pretty true. You shouldn't discriminate based on skin color. That'd be racist, like you are.
I guess. I think that's just reductionist to be like that. That's not actually a well thought out thing. Like, well, if we do things based on skin color, then it's automatically bad.
I think you live in word games all day, and you basically live on islands of mirages all day.
Can you like explain to me a word game that I've played here?
bullshit trap. But if I'm some white supremacist or some shit, I don't want to remember it. It was terrible.
I don't think that I'm playing word games, which is why I'm asking. Because if I could understand what word games I'm playing, I would try to stop doing it. But you've accused me numerous times of playing word
Whiteness
games.
is entirely a word game. Fucking
Oh, you're just
trans issues are entirely a word game.
okay. So you're just saying using a different definition than what you want to use as a word.
I mean, the most common definition until people literally changed the dictionary like 2 to 3 years ago, dude. Like I understand you just got out of jail. This shit's been going on for like 8 years. And you're just like new to the party.
Nope.
And they want to like shoe shine that bald head of yours and get a good look in there.
So if redlining disproportionately hurts black people, wouldn't we want to fix the effects?
Is there redlining right now, Tom?
The effects from redlining are still in place.
The effects of Ottoman slave trade are still happening today, and there's still slavery today.
Right.
Who cares? It's just like,
so we don't care about slavery then?
not anymore since it's talked about fucking death. I don't care about slavery. Do you?
Yeah, I care about slavery.
Then why don't you go to fucking Africa and stop it then, Tom? Instead of stream 9 to 10 hours a night and talk to like nobody and get no money for it.
I don't know. Why don't you go stop people from talking about whiteness?
I'm doing it right now.
I don't think you are.
So one person's getting their thing done. Your shit isn't happening.
I mean, do I have to go out and do everything that I'm against all at once, or can I advocate for some of the things while I'm
let's be honest. Let's be honest here, Tom. You'll never go do it because you don't. You really don't care.
I mean, I can.
You just talk about it online. That's all you do. Let's be honest here. You dance for coins on the internet.
I don't get coins though.
Yeah, you don't get nothing. We got it. We got Kay's here to listen to because she actually has points.
Okay. I can care about other things and make those priorities over some things. I can care about slavery and say, hey, but there's other things that I care about at the same time. I care about my family. I care about helping them and taking care of them. I care about the people in my life. I care about getting online and advocating for the things that I think should change. I can care about lots of things. And you say, well, there's one thing that you care about that you haven't stopped yet, so you don't care about anything.
I said no.
Okay, I don't actually care about that thing.
That's a terrible characterization of what I did. I just said you're a grifter in a long sense of the joke. You know what I'm saying? That made you laugh.
Okay. You live in Flint?
Around there, yeah.
Is y'all's water still messed up?
For some people, they got most of the pipes replaced.
How long?
I just wish people would stop talking about it, dude.
It's like 15 years, though, right?
No, it's been, 8? It's like 2012 or some shit.
Damn. Okay. I mean, look, when it comes to my beliefs and my morals and my values, those bleed into literally everything else. I have a consistent system to where I decide what it is that I care about, what it is that's right, what it is that's wrong. This applies to literally everything in my life. It's not just one or two things. I have a system for how I decide what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't have a problem with that. It's just like the anti-white shit is what bothers me. That's when I start doing it, and it's just like you say you're conservative, and then tap dance and hang out with all these lefties that basically just treat you like a dog anyway.
So if people started using the phrase "it's okay to be white" to advocate for bad things, would you stop saying it's okay to be white, or would you say that like saying it's okay to be white is now bad?
people burn down things in the name of BLM. Would you still advocate for it?
Yes.
Then there you go.
No, not there you go, because you're the one who's saying that because other people misuse whiteness that I should stop talking about it.
Things. That's why I think you should stop talking about it, Tom. It's just anti-white.
White supremacy isn't a thing.
I didn't say white supremacy is a thing. Why is white supremacy and whiteness the same thing if they're two different things? It's literally both.
I've defined whiteness numerous times as white supremacy.
I know you have. But I'm just telling you right now, if they're both the same thing, then why are they two different things?
They're not two different things. What do you think whiteness is then?
I just said, and you spread whiteness, which is anti-white, and then you said, but it's white supremacy.
Right.
How is whiteness what? Well, I already know what you're going to say.
Right. So you disagree with me on the definition of whiteness, but the people who use whiteness as a construct.
You don't use it, though. You don't use it.
What do you mean?
You don't agree with it.
No, I use the word whiteness as white supremacy.
But why would you use whiteness when people literally say whiteness is you going to church?
Because I think we can agree on a concept without.
But they don't agree. They don't agree with you. I'm telling you that right now.
But they've already said that it is white supremacy.
You can go to church, correct? That's what they said.
They said that whiteness is white supremacy.
Going to church is that.
They also said that, yes. But we're talking about whiteness.
And you're going to try to meet in the middle with those people.
Yeah, they're wrong about some things.
Yeah, some things. How about your existence, dude?
My existence is not going to church.
No, your existence as a white person, yes.
So they think whiteness is white supremacy, and therefore going to church is whiteness, and therefore my existence is bad.
Correct. Yes, you just nailed it.
I'm not following that line of thought because they think
it's all
the church is whiteness.
Stack.
It's all what?
Say what you just said, or listen back to what you just said. That you just described what it is. It's all one fucking thing. Right. One thing to negate your existence, dude.
I don't think that me going to church being white supremacy negates my existence.
That's not what I'm saying.
That is what you're saying. That's what I just said. You said it exactly.
Said whiteness and white supremacy were the same things.
Right.
How can they be the same things if they're two different things?
They're not. They're the same thing. You keep asking that same question, and I've said over and over, they're the same thing.
And whiteness is you going to church?
No.
Yes, it is. That's what it is by definition. That's what they say it is. That's what academics would say it is.
So is your issue me using the phrase whiteness, or is it me associating with people who misuse the phrase whiteness?
I mean, I don't even care if you hung out with Aiko and shit, dude. It bothered me for the first 2 days, and then it's just like, oh, he likes the masochism, so.
Okay, but you feel as though they are misusing it, and you said numerous times, then why do you hang out with people who hate you and your existence? And I'm asking, is your issue that I use the phrase whiteness, or is it that I hang out with people who hate my existence?
I don't know. really care, but I guess it's whiteness is more priority. If we were to rank them,
Okay. So when we're talking about whiteness, if we could talk about me using whiteness, if that's the issue, then we would stick to my definition of it and what I believe it is, not continue pivoting to what somebody else thinks it is. And what
who cares what people thinks it is? They don't.
you keep saying that. Well, every time I say like, well, white supremacy or whiteness is white supremacy, you say, yeah, and it's you going to church, and I'm like, no, it's not. You're like, well, that's what they say it is. Okay, I don't care what they say it is. We're talking about me.
Yes.
What is the entire definition?
That's what you do.
It's everything you do.
Perpetuality of whiteness.
You said it's everything you do.
You perpetuate whiteness, dude, by your existence.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't ascribe to that, this weird original sin that you ascribe to. So
I understand you don't subscribe to it. Like, that's why we're talking about this.
Just describe why it's an original sin that is ascribed to you. Because you exist.
Right. I perpetuate the system of white supremacy. By existing.
Yep, that's their framework, and you agree with it.
Right. Black people who are born in Africa.
Thank you.
Black people who are born in Africa as the majority perpetuate black supremacy by existing.
And Chinese people and Chineseness and whatever you want to say and whatever bullshit you want to come up with. That's why I don't waste my time with it, and it's just anti-white.
You're literally wasting your time with it right now. And every time you complain about it in the chat.
You asked me why, Tom.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get to a point where you will actually argue against it instead of just saying, I don't care, or I just don't like it, or I just don't ascribe
to
it.
I don't, it's racist. That's why.
I don't think that within your definition of just saying doing things based on race is automatically racist. I think that that's reductionary. I
don't do the power systems that you do. Yes, I don't do the mental math of oppression.
Yeah, no, that's stupid.
That is not what I do. Correct. Yeah. I skip the tomfoolery part of my pun.
Yeah, the whole what is it? Something plus power equals racism. That's stupid.
Yeah. Well, you guys are in the power game. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, power dynamics matter. Like, if white people didn't have power over black people, then they would never have been able to hold them in slavery. Like, power dynamics are the most important part of it. You don't
jump back in time, back to slavery again.
We're not talking about slavery. I'm explaining to you that power dynamics matter while you're saying.
But you jump back in time to do it.
Okay, I'm asking, do you disagree that white people had to have power over black people in order
No, I don't disagree. They had to have power, correct.
Okay, so within power dynamics, there are a lot of things that we can do to other people that they may not like. Do you disagree with that?
Spit it out, Tom. Get over with it.
I mean, I have to go step by step because you're making broad statements. I don't do the whole power dynamics thing. So I'm trying to get to what part of the power dynamics thing you don't do.
Yeah, I don't do any of it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But it's all pretty standard. It's all
because you live in this online Twitch world where you have to work with these bullshit con artist, dude.
Okay.
That's why I'm trying to pull you out of it. Talk about real shit again.
I'm fine with that. I want to know what part of the power dynamics you disagree with. So I want to know, do you disagree that we can get people to do things through power dynamics?
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds as though you believe in the whole power dynamics.
So you're saying that we have to have power to make people do things. Political power grows out of the end of a gun.
Yeah, political power. Even smaller things like just being somebody's boss or being someone's teacher, or having authority over people, being within hierarchies gives you power, and those power dynamics help you have power over others, which gives you the power to oppress people.
I know what Jordan Peterson says. Now what else? What are you trying to tell me?
You said you don't do the whole power dynamics thing, but you agree with all of the tenets of power dynamics.
I don't agree with nothing, dude. You just
did. You just did.
See, it's just rhetorical tricks. I don't care. I just want to talk like a person, dude. You're not talking like a person. You're trying to do these bullshit games. That's why I'm talking about word games. You just did. Oh, you just did. You just did. You're doing some bullshit lyrical trap. Let's talk like a human being. Ask me a question. I'll tell you about it.
But once I ask you the question and you tell me about it, I want to understand why it is you feel the way you feel. And once
I think I already told you what my political stance is. I think it's kind of bullshit. You only vote once every 4 years. Most people do. They don't have things. They're driven by consumerism. It's a giant wrestling show, people. That's what I think. I don't care about the whiteness. It's a literal sideshow to distract you from people fleecing you. That's what I believe.
When you say you don't care about the whiteness thing, you mean you just don't believe in it, right?
Yeah, I think it's a waste of time, and it's anti-white because it's taught to children, dude. It makes kids feel guilty about themselves. I don't want it taught to children. I don't want people talking about it more because it's literal bullshit. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, I think the whole white guilt thing is stupid. I don't feel guilty for being white.
I'm glad. I'm glad you don't. And I know that's why I didn't press it anymore or talk to you about that anymore. But it's just like it's horseshit, dude.
Again, you're saying it's wrong, and I'm trying to get to the point where I understand where you and I disagree, because so far we agree on all
of this.
What
did the African American Museum put out? What was the infographic about whiteness? Let's see if you agree with that. Pull that up, Jamie. Like, what are the tenets of whiteness? Like hardworking and horseshit like that, dude. It's literally just propaganda.
What was it called? African American Museum.
Well, like look up whiteness thing, maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked it up in a while. I remember that was a big thing, but it's just like, dude, it's like this shit's everywhere. Yep, that second one.
Family structure, the nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. Husband is breadwinner and head of household. Wife is homemaker and subordinate to the husband.
Abolish everything you're reading. Remember that. You have to abolish everything you're reading.
Yeah. So
this is what you are for, by the way.
I've given a different definition.
I don't care what you've given. This is what everyone else thinks. Literally everyone else.
They don't think they do. I've talked to them about these things and we've broken it down. They disagree with these things.
So it's a Mott and Bailey. So it's like defund the police. It's all this horseshit. So you put out bullshit like this and teach it to kids. And well, we don't really believe it.
Okay. So
we don't really believe this stuff we put in the African American Museum. We don't really believe it. It's like horseshit, dude.
I think it's obvious that some people will have different definitions of some things, and then we'll disagree on what those things mean. I think that happens. I think that that's common. I don't think that's a Mott and Bailey. I think that's us just disagreeing.
It's easy, Mott and Bailey, because whiteness is little things and then it's everything, dude. That's why it's a Mott and Bailey. You retreat into whiteness.
What do you mean you retreat into whiteness? Like into the idea of it?
Correct. It's white supremacy when it's evil, and then when it's not, it's just whiteness. But it's evil. It's the evilest thing in the world. It's people thinking they're better than you when literally no one's saying that.
Do you know what crap, I'm blanking on the word. Do you think you could have biases without knowing it?
Are you talking personal taste or?
Yeah, just like in general, like you could be raised to not, so like lots of times when we talk about slavery, lots of people will say stuff like, oh, all of those slave owners knew that the black people were real humans and they just chose to treat them poorly. And I would say, like, I don't think they did. I think that they were raised their entire lives to believe that black people weren't humans. Science said that they weren't humans. Like, they were brainwashed into believing these people weren't really humans.
The concept of what, when you say science, only appeared 40 years ago. And you keep saying science. When you we're like, yay, science. That's that concept you keep saying happened 40 years ago. It wasn't like science says like in the 1930s and shit, dude. Well, yeah, it did. I'm stupid.
Yeah, it was around a long time.
There were movies about that.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm getting high as Aiko over here.
Yeah. She can't even talk once she starts smoking. But yeah, we can have biases that we don't even know that we have. And
are you going into the inclusive bias? Are you going like that way or what?
Yeah, maybe. Just saying, like, we can be raised to think less of people without even knowing it, especially with tribalism.
Sure. The thing is, it could be like with anybody. You could do it with Catholics. You could do it like that happens throughout, like with ethnic groups and like Germans and other things. So that happens all the time. In and out groups.
Definitely. But then
my thing is, there's a very like you can obviously there's like you can't even have like diversity itself just means less white people, right? We can agree on that, right?
Say that again.
Diversity means less white people.
I don't think it means less white people. I think it.
When is the time when diversity is going to be more white people?
It maybe like per capita, sure, but it doesn't mean less white people. It means more of other people.
No, it means less white. Then if there's more of other people, there'll be less of.
Like I said, I agree with you. Like per capita, but
it's just like you agree with me. You agree with me then.
Per capita, yes. It doesn't mean
per
that,
capita. Like, what nonsense are you talking about?
Okay, so if we have hold on. If we have like 1,000 white people, it doesn't mean that we make it to where there's only 500 white people. It means we keep the 1,000, but add 1,000 Mexicans, 1,000 black people, 1,000 Asians. Like, it means we add more of others, not taking less of the white people. So like in the end, in the beginning, there was 100% white people, but in the end, there's like 25% white people. Or is there less white people? No, there's still 1,000. But per capita, there is less white people.
So wait a second. What did you just say?
If we have 1,000 white people.
You have 1,000 white people at the beginning.
Correct. Now, there's still 1,000 white people, but now there's also 1,000 black people, and there's 1,000 Asian people, and there's 1,000 Latino people. Okay. So,
But that's never what they mean, Tom. They never mean hiring more people. They mean get rid of people.
No,
they have to
bring in more people.
They get rid of people, Tom.
Who's they?
In Google and high tech discriminate against Asians and whites all the time.
Asians and whites are like the highest hired people in.
Should they be discriminated against for that?
No, but they're still getting hired at a higher rate than anybody else.
So what?
So you're saying that they're being discriminated against while they're still being hired at a higher rate than anybody else?
Correct.
How is that possible?
Because there's a bias against them, and they have a racist hiring process.
But they're still being hired at a higher rate than everybody else. Asians and white people, there's still way more of them.
It's still racist.
What part of it is racist? If they're still
they hire based on race. They hire less Asians and whites.
But they're still hiring more Asians and whites than every other race.
Because there's more in the field.
I don't know. I guess I would have to look at some statistics to say that they're lowering the amount of white people that are being hired.
I mean, you can look it up in articles. They're everywhere, dude.
Okay. Let's see.
Where do you work, Tom?
I run restaurants for a franchisee.
It's be hard right now.
Huh?
Is that hard during the pandemic?
It's hard for sure, like all the different stuff that we have to do now. But the
Please don't pull up infographics from Vox.com, dude.
Yeah, we're making a lot more money now, so like we're getting a lot more bonuses and stuff like that. That's not it. Okay, let me find an article then. White men who can't get any jobs say they are being discriminated against.
They bring in Indians on the work visas, dude.
Was fired by Google for circulating an anti-diversity memo, sued the company in January, alleging that the tech giants discriminates against white conservative men. He's likely not alone in that belief.
I mean, you can look up YouTube videos of Asian guys talking about it on YouTube. They have like 500,000 views.
Yeah,
it's not a secret.
Asian people also
it's like a
sued Harvard.
Fact.
Asian people
yeah,
also,
they did.
And they lost that suit because they were completely wrong about what it was they were claiming.
Oh, they changed the definition. The people at Harvard changed the definition of what they were claiming?
No.
What a surprise.
I can't remember. Chat, what is it called again? When you try to like get more black people into colleges.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action, yes. So affirmative action.
That's super racist too.
Within the guidelines, what it says is that because black people are less likely to get into colleges and are normally discriminated against when they're getting into college, if you have a white or an Asian person and then a black person who have the same exact qualifications across the board, if it's a tie and you don't know which one to pick, you just automatically go with the black person as a tiebreaker.
It's racist. So it's racist there. Thank you.
It is racist. Yes.
Anti-white, anti-Asian.
Sure. White people and Asians getting into schools at higher rates in the first place. Is that racist?
Nope.
Why not?
Why would it be racist?
Because it's races that are getting in at higher rates. They're choosing white people
I
and
thought
Asian
race
people
wasn't real.
that don't pivot.
I'm not pivoting to anything, dude. You're talking about race.
We've been talking
Now
about yes,
yeah,
we've been
about a
talking
real
about
thing
race
called race,
as
dude. We've been talking about a real thing but called race this whole time.
yes,
It's
we
been
have been
great.
talking about race
It's
as
so
a
real.
as a
So real. We've
social
been talking about
we've been talking about race as a social construct this
whiteness
entire
is
time.
a social construct that doesn't exist.
True. Correct.
Thank you for agreeing with me. It doesn't exist.
Being a social construct doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Language is a social construct.
Race is real. It's like it's like how is it not real?
Again, I made my example perfectly understood when I asked you if Obama was black, and you said yes, even though you thought it was
That's
about
not
phenomes.
perfectly understood. I said Obama is black.
Correct.
Obviously, you can tell.
You can tell.
Is Samuel Jackson black?
But you said it was about his
That's
phenome.
my
You
question. Is Samuel L. Jackson black, Tom?
yes. It's a social construct. Yes. You say it's about phenomes and DNA. I say it's about the way you look at somebody.
That's why they have those tests, dude. See what race and ethnicity you are.
Okay, so did you do that test on Obama?
I don't have to know it's real.
That's not the question. You said Obama's black. How do you know he's black? Did you check his phenomes?
I have to personally check his phenome to know that his race is real, dude.
That's not the question.
I'm not trying to erase his, like, you want me to see race as a social concept, but not see it as a skin color? Or do you want me to see both?
Skin color is a social construct.
So we discriminate based on skin color?
If there's already discrimination based on skin color, to counteract that, we should discriminate based on skin color. Yes.
And what are those skin colors?
White, black, like what do you
those races of people?
Sure.
In America?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's a social construct.
No, it's not. It's real because we're discriminating and making policy on it.
So you're saying just the skin color is real. It's not about phenomes, correct?
Phenomes connect to it's all connected here.
Obama is minority black. A minority of Obama's phenomes are African.
I don't care about Obama again for.
Because this disproves your point.
Give me a different example. Like, what are you talking about?
Why? This disproves your point. You called him black.
Race is real?
Yes. This disproves your point that race is about phenomes. It's about the way somebody looks, not about.
Why are you arguing if you agree with me now then?
Social constructs are real.
I don't think it's a social construct. It's actual skin color and.
Okay, so stop asking me if it's real, then ask me if it's a social construct, because that's where we disagree. You keep acting like you got an own on me because
you think it's a social construct. I don't care. Like, you care if I think it is. I don't. It's real to me. Race is real.
You keep acting like it's an own when you ask me if race is real, and I say yes, as if I've lost some battle.
And I don't think it's an own. I'm just talking.
Okay. So, Obama, like 25% African American, he's black.
He is a black man.
Correct. So it's not about phenomes; it's about what he looks like. There's a range of how black you could be or how black you could look, and you could, his gene line could keep having more and more sex with white people and keep looking whiter and whiter and whiter over time.
Correct. Whatever you would identify with at that point.
Exactly. Making it a social construct.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just like we're gonna disagree, man.
You just agreed with me.
I mean, I'm saying okay to let's move on.
It wasn't about you saying okay. It was about you
You
saying
could think I agree with you. I don't agree with you. You obviously know I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Can we move on from it?
it wasn't about you saying okay. It's about you saying that it's about whatever they
How about you?
identify at that point.
Come on, man. Let's move on.
Okay. So, if we are discriminating against people based on race,
Doing that.
huh?
Discriminating based on who's discriminating against them?
Schools.
How are the schools doing that?
They're currently choosing black people over Asian and white people.
We should get rid of that policy
Why?
because it's racist.
And what's wrong with racism?
Because I like to judge people by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin.
Why?
It leads to better outcomes.
So I think that because of like power
Because people
structures,
dwell on their skin color all day and screech at you, Tom, when they jump into these rooms.
so like within a community, if there's more people with college educations within that community does
College
better.
educations are horseshit, dude.
But statistically speaking, there are more people
Just
within
speaking.
yes, if there are more people within a community with college educations, they do better, and they're more likely to have two-parent households later on in their with their kids and their kids' kids and all of that. So
We all agree with Ben Shapiro's points.
okay,
And
cool. So if you said that you disagree with racism because because getting rid of racism would lead to better outcomes. If we allow black people into college over white and Asian people, those black people would now have black people within black communities that have college degrees, which would lead to better outcomes.
but it hasn't done that, Tom.
We just started doing it. There's a very small
We've been doing it for a while.
we just started doing it about 8 years. It was about 8 or 9 years ago when they started doing it.
So your plan is not working out.
And there's
So what else you got?
and there's about 10 to 15 people every year who get in through this program. So over time, it should help.
But it
Incrementally.
doesn't. And it's not. And it's
Mhm.
making it worse. So what are we going to do?
We're going to keep doing it. It'll eventually help.
Don't keep doing it then.
It's been a short amount of time. What do you
Need more
mean?
money for those programs.
Do you think it costs more money to make sure that black people get in over a white person or an Asian person?
Do you think it costs more money for them?
Yes, that was my question.
I don't know really if it costs more money for them. I think it costs a lot of fucking money, doesn't it, nowadays? You basically sell your soul. That can't be forgiven. It's a huge scam.
We're talking about black people getting into college over white or Asian people. Does that cost more money for a black person to get in over a white or Asian person?
Say that question one more time.
So like at a college, they have three options: a white person, a Asian person, or a black person. The program says the black person gets in over the white person or Asian person. Does that cost more money for them to choose the black person over the white or Asian person?
They get free grants and stuff.
I mean, not because of the program, maybe
They get
outside
the color
of
of
that.
their skin.
No, not based on the color of their skin.
Economic status.
Yeah, maybe based on economic status, if we're saying that black people are
I
disproportionately
mean, like
poor.
making a retarded argument about like how much does it cost? Who's costing what? Is it costing me? Is it costing the college? Is it costing the black person? Are you talking the black community? Who are you talking about in this question?
I don't know. You were the one who said
I
it
don't
costs
know.
more
Why did
money.
you ask me that?
You were the one who said it cost more money. This is why I'm asking why you think it costs more money.
Who said more money?
You did.
I never said what's costing more money. I said college just costs a bajillion dollars in general. It's like an unforgivable loan Ponzi scheme, right?
People who get college degrees make a lot more money on average in America. Is that
Yeah, for a while. Yeah, we'll
for their
see.
entire life? Like they
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, then it's not we'll see. We are already seeing that they make a lot more money.
Just saying. But anyway, what is that? What does that have to do? I get it. Yeah, black people would make more money. Good, good.
You said it
But
was a
you're
Ponzi scheme.
still discriminating based on skin color, which I'm against. I've told you that.
Okay. The reason I said they make more money is because you called it a Ponzi scheme, as if it doesn't actually do anything. But
Well, yeah, student loans is a Ponzi scheme.
but they will make a lot more money than those.
We're talking about two different things here, dude. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. So
Then why are you talking past me, trying to give me a point that I'm not even talking about?
you just said student loans. If a student loan is an investment into your future to make more money, and then you make more money, then you can more easily pay off those student loans, and you will make a lot more money than you ever paid on those student loans, meaning it was an investment that pays off.
Is that even true nowadays?
Let's see. I guess I can check.
Or don't we have like billion, like trillion now in fucking student debt, dude? Like, I don't think people are paying them back at like some rate. I don't know. I'm just saying it's not like you don't want that. You want people getting into trade skills and things that are helpful.
The average college graduate earns $78,000 a year compared to the $45,000 earned by someone with only a high school education. So that's a 75% premium, or more than $30,000 a year. So yes, they make 75% more.
You keep Googling this shit. I don't care. I'm just saying.
You asked the question.
You and have a conversation. I'm not debating it.
I'm not debating you either. You asked the question. I said I would look it up.
Shit stuff, dude.
I'm trying to understand your thought processes. And when you don't know, I will go and check. When I don't know, I will go and check. That way we can both solidify what it is we believe.
We're having a debate. I'm trying to have a conversation. You literally are trying to get gotcha moments, dude. When I'm saying like, oh, you're getting me on race is real, I'm just having fun. Because it's funny to hear you say it a bunch of times and then walk it back 2 seconds later.
You are the one who has walked it back. You already agreed that race is not real.
I said it's real a bunch of times, and I still agree with
you.
it.
Can say it's real.
It's obvious you would never argue this with a black person who tell you to realize it all the time. Realize I'm black. Realize it. You're not going to argue with these people about that. You're not going to do that. It's just bullshit, dude. You're just doing some weird Maoist right now interrogation of me. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you.
I have debated with black people on whether or not race is real. And on top of that,
I'm black people.
And you said that after a while of mixing white genetics with black genetics, it matters how they define themselves, meaning that race is not real. You don't have a cutoff line. You don't have an.
But then guess what? The people that identify, race is real to them, isn't it? If they start identifying it to them, it is real to them. So whatever they identify, it's going to be real. It's what we use on government charts. It's real. It's as real as the. It's as real as the table I'm sitting on, dude. Sit on the chair, not a table.
The social construct correlates to something that is real, but it is not based on DNA or phenomes. It is based on what they look like or how they identify.
But they would still be kind of black, though, right? Even if they were like, light skin black, really light skin black, and then identified as black, they still be black.
What makes them black?
Their skin color, them identifying as it.
Right, not their phenomes or their DNA.
Why is it majority black in the NBA? Is it their phenotype and DNA?
It would be their gene lineage, like where they get their genes from.
Okay. And what is that connected to?
Their parents,
Their race and skin color?
Their parents and their bloodline.
Shit, thanks.
There are also white people who are in the NBA, and they're not there because they're white. White people aren't there because they're white. They're there for the same reason, because of genes in their bloodline have given them advantages. So, seems we've come to the conclusion that racism is not bad.
Is that your conclusion?
You haven't disagreed.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. We're not having a conversation. You're doing this weird lyrical game where you're saying that you agree with my premise or whatever. What are you talking about?
Okay. So is there a way for me to disagree with your premise without it being a debate?
Yeah, you can. I said you can believe it. I'm just saying I don't like it. I said I don't like the anti-white shit.
So I should just be like, cool, you don't like it, I don't like it, conversation over.
If you want it to be like that, if you said you wanted to explore it.
Yes, and while I'm exploring it.
I'm giving it to you.
While I'm exploring it, you're saying that it's a debate and it's no longer a conversation.
It kind of turned into a debate, I'm just like, okay. And I'm like, this doesn't. I'm a working class guy. It just doesn't bother me. I work with black people.
I understand it doesn't bother you, and that's part of the problem with whiteness is that the privileges that we have doesn't affect us. The things that affect them don't affect us. Therefore, we don't care about it. And as part of being the majority, we don't have to worry about it. Therefore, we can just let it continue.
Therefore, it must be reinforced and think about it all the time. What the fuck are you talking about?
Think about it all the time. I'm talking about
what you just said. It's just we have the privilege. So what? I have to be stripped of that privilege and then have to think about it all the time, nonstop, every day. What the fuck are you talking about?
I said that. I said think about it all the time.
We have the privilege. Right. Are you implying we have it?
Say that again. You cut out.
Implying that we shouldn't have a privilege that you say that I have and we have as a collective body of people.
If we have that privilege based on skin color, according to your definition, that would be racism.
It would be racism if I had a privilege based on my skin color.
So if we let a person into college based on their skin color, that would be a privilege based on their skin color. You said
that would
racism.
Be privilege.
Correct. So you said that's racism and that's bad. Therefore, people having a privilege based on skin color is
this
racism.
Isn't a privilege. It's just we're just talking. It's not. What are you talking about?
Okay? So I said white people don't have to care about what affects black people or minorities because we don't have to deal with it. Therefore, we can just put it in the rearview mirror and say it's not my problem. I don't have to worry about it. You said that. You said, then would I have to think about it all the time or every day? And I said, no.
Well, you're implying that it's a privilege we have to lose. It's a privilege that I can't have.
Not to not have to think about other people's issues.
To not worry about other people's issues. Worry about my own thing. Correct. So that I have to always be worrying constantly.
If it's privilege. Based. Yes. So if you get that privilege based on your skin color, then that would be racism. And you're saying privileges based on skin color is racism, which is bad. So you have already said that this is bad by
No, I haven't
definition.
even given you the premise of having a privilege.
Okay, what's the premise of having a privilege?
I haven't given it to you.
Okay, what is the premise of having a privilege?
The premise of having a privilege. I don't know. You have to tell me.
You just said you haven't given me the premise of having a privilege.
Yeah, I don't give you that concept, dude. I don't say that there is one because it's not real.
But when I said that we have a privilege based on skin color, you
No,
said
you are misguided.
okay, and should we not have that? You didn't say no, we don't have that. You said okay, and should we not have that? Is that bad? And I said yes, based on your definition of racism, that is bad.
That's so stupid, dude.
This is your words.
No, it's not.
Yes,
it's
it is.
just a fuckery prison that you want to be in, dude.
No, this is your words in your definition.
And lyrical traps that I don't care to play in or
It's
talk.
not lyrical traps. These are
Yes,
your
they
words.
are. Dude, you just like, who cares?
It's not about who cares. These are your words. You're denying them now. Is it racism? Okay, is it racism to have a privilege based on skin color?
Affirmative action is racist.
Okay.
That's my.
Okay, cool. So if we don't have to worry about other people's problems based on because we're not that skin color, would you not say that that is a privilege?
Nope, it's not a privilege. We hear about it all the fucking time.
That doesn't change whether or not it's a privilege.
Yes, it does.
A privilege is something that you get but is not earned.
I don't think it's a privilege.
Okay. If you did not earn the right to not have to care about other people's problems
What's the
based
right
on your
to
skin
care?
color.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
A privilege.
What's the right? What is that?
Okay, so a privilege is something that you did not earn the right for, but you get anyways. And if we're saying that we don't have to care about Black people's problems because we don't have to deal with it, that would be a privilege by definition.
I didn't say that.
So what part of that do you disagree with?
What part do I disagree with? What?
What I just said.
Yeah, I don't grant you any privilege or anything. I don't see the concept of the privilege in it. Me not caring about veganism doesn't leave me. It's just like, it's so dumb, dude.
If I don't have to care about Black people's problems because I'm white and therefore it's not my problem, that is by definition a privilege. What part of that do you disagree with?
That your definition of privilege is stupid.
So what's the definition of privilege?
Is it a privilege that you don't care about my job?
Yes, there are other people who also have privileges.
Should I care about you not caring about my job?
If your job is hurting you, then yes.
No, that doesn't correlate with me. Sorry.
That's not the question we're talking
I
about.
don't care what the question is, Tom. I'm trying to talk to you.
I'm trying to talk to you, but you're not.
Yeah, you're
making
trying
sense,
to
so
mind fuck me to think white privilege is real. It's not. Sorry. Next question.
I'm trying to understand what it is that you're saying, and you're not making sense. So I'm trying to break it down to where I can understand it, to where it will make sense. Sometimes we say things in ways that don't make sense to other people, and I'm fine with that. I would rather break it down to a point to where I can finally understand what it is that you're saying. If we don't have to care about what Black people are doing because we're white,
What?
it's not.
Is it a Black privilege that they don't care what we do?
Yes.
then I don't care. Like, then I don't care about your bullshit privileges. Then it's just a shitty system.
Okay, not
You,
asking if you care about
I'm
the
saying
privilege.
I don't care about the system of privilege. You're like Dungeons and Dragons bonuses you're giving to people about caring and not caring, or privilege and not privilege. No, it's just like I don't like discriminating based on skin color. It's like
I
really
know.
simple.
That's what we're talking about.
Pro that.
Huh?
Pro discriminating based on skin color.
In some cases, yes.
Okay, cool. I'm not. I'm anti that.
Well, I would ask you questions about that, but that would be word games and debating. So I appreciate you coming on to talk with me.
Hey, I get it. I get it. I get it, man. It's just like I'm tired of anti-white propaganda. Oh, goddamn day.
I just don't. I don't think that anti-white propaganda actually exists. This is what I'm trying to get to.
It is. It's printed all the time. There's literally an article about how white people are bad at bullshit all the time. What are you talking about? There's nothing. Like, I can. You want me to send them to you, Tom?
All right. How about this? White people are the majority of the country. If all white
Which is
people,
okay. That's okay, right?
that's fine.
That's okay.
Yes,
To
that's
be the
fine.
majority of the country.
Let me get through a sentence. If white people are the majority of the country, but we all say, hey, black people have issues based on systemic racism, but we don't care about it because it's not our problem. Okay. At what point does it matter? At what point are we supposed to do something about it? At what point is is this a problem that we should deal with?
When black people are discriminated against?
Yes, because currently they feel as though they're being discriminated against, but when we talk
Yeah,
about whiteness,
when they're literally talking about bullshit that's not true all the time in the media, Tom, they're going to get that impression.
we've already agreed that a lot of these things are true within welfare, within redlining. Like we've already agreed on a lot of these things.
Well, black people like welfare.
That's not the to say they like welfare, but they like being incentivized to not having fathers in the household.
I'm not saying that but they're pro welfare though.
They like aspects of welfare. That doesn't mean we shouldn't fix it.
I'm not saying you shouldn't fix it. I'm just saying that they would argue against you there.
Okay.
Like they would they wouldn't be for that.
They wouldn't be for fixing welfare to where they make more money.
But they need to make more money on welfare.
Okay, so currently you have one household or one person in the household, they're making a certain amount of money. You add a second.
Well, I know why. I'm just saying, I get, are you just saying structuralize it to the family structure instead of single player alpha? Okay, I agree with that. So,
make it to where they don't make less money because
I would agree with those like policy changes, like one-on-one, Tom, because that's a universal thing. It's not based on skin color.
Correct.
You know that.
But systemic racism works in one-on-one individual instances.
It's just a cloak you put on so you make the white people shut up in the room, Tom. They can't have an opinion other than what you're saying right now. They can't dance around it when they're in a room where they're like, oh, can't talk about whiteness, or it's all they're going to talk about.
Have I done that?
Have you done it? Oh, I'm just saying, no, I wouldn't say you've done it.
I agree that these people exist. They're a problem. They are people that I speak out against and I speak to. But me personally, I feel as though I can still advocate for these things while advocating against those things.
Fair enough. I just don't like agree with the cloth of, whiteness, white privilege, all these concepts that came out of Tumblr and like literally Reddit out of like in 2012, dude.
I
think
they
were in the academy, but they were spun out during those years.
I think that you don't understand those concepts, and they're
just bullshit. They're bullshit concepts. I listen to it. I listen to that shit all day. I know what they're talking about. It's to disenfranchise people based on a type of skin color, isn't it? It's saying you can't be in control of power anymore,
They're not,
or any power ever again.
they're not trying to disenfranchise you. They're trying to enfranchise other people.
Wrong. Then why are they basing it on skin color? It would be lifting up everyone, but they target based on skin color to target white people.
If
All the
white
time.
people are already lifted up, then they only have to lift up the other people based on skin color.
Okay.
So that's why.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. You said if they're doing it based on skin color, then that would be wrong. And I'm saying not if they're disenfranchised based on skin color and we are enfranchised based on skin color.
Do you think this stuff should be taught to kids?
Probably not.
Okay, cool.
Like, I think that would probably cause white guilt and things like that before they could actually understand these concepts.
It's already happening.
Right, but they end up like you, where they don't understand the concept.
Oh, I
feel as
understand the
though
concept.
people
Dude,
are
I understand
racist.
the concept. You accept the leftist full wholesale cloth of it, like literally written by communists in the 60s. Like, I don't accept communists in the 60s ideas, dude.
I've already disagreed with lots of the wholesale leftist concepts, though.
But you disagreeing and then accepting that the base core premises of them, you still accept whiteness. That's the leftist thing.
What part of what I accept actually hurts white people?
By constantly saying that they are the majority and it's bad and all that
Not
shit.
bad that they're the
And that
majority.
there's an evil force of whiteness that they should be on constant guard about.
Right. That's a really broad statement. Yeah, there's a whiteness that they should be on guard over, that they should advocate against. Sure.
Yeah, it says like literally there's people in the BLM movement. It's like, be a race traitor. What the fuck?
Be a race traitor?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Think they're saying don't only advocate for your own race, but come
Why
advocate for us.
why can't white people advocate for themselves? Is that bad?
Don't only advocate for your race, but advocate for others as well.
Can black people advocate for black people?
Yes.
Can white people advocate for white people?
Yes.
No, they can't. That's a lie, Tom.
White people advocate for white people all the time.
Where are you seeing that at?
Anecdotal, John Ossoff is a senator who just won in Georgia. I advocated for him to win. He ran. He won. I advocated for white people.
Did you talk about white people?
He didn't
'Cause I
talk
think
about
that-
white people, but he
Yeah.
is a white person that I advocated for.
You didn't advocate for white people.
Yes, I advocated for a white person.
I'm saying the guy you supported didn't advocate for a white person.
He
For
also
white people.
he also
So like you
advo-
can't have like a white student union. You can't have.
he advocated for Joe Biden
You know
to
what I'm
win.
saying? You're doing it again. Like you're just like you can't accept that. It's just like obviously you can't advocate.
Okay,
As
what
a collective group, you couldn't do that,
what should we be advocating for white people?
dude. I'm just saying as a general.
I am too. I'm saying we advocate for white people. I've given you examples. You say
I don't-
that's not good
I don't
enough. I
care.
want to
I
know
don't
what you think
want it.
that we should
I'm
be
just
advocating for.
It's not even fair, and it's obvious. It's a fucking double standard. People are getting sick of it.
What should we be advocating for white people?
I don't know.
I don't think there's things like in a broad generality for all white people that we should be advocating for. If there were things,
Cool.
I
I like again.
I don't think anyone would have an issue with that. Like there was a lot of advocating for the white people in South Africa when their farms were getting burnt down and some of them were getting killed based on their skin color.
That was good advocation, right?
Yes, and it was mostly the left that was doing it.
Yeah, they literally don't believe it exists.
It was
They don't report on it. They only did when Trump talked about it.
it was mostly the left that was advocating for it and made a big deal about it. And they obviously think it's okay to advocate for white people.
Advocate for white people? What? What are you talking about? They didn't advocate for South Africa.
Yeah, there were lots of them that did. The way I found out about it was through like Vice and a bunch of other leftist publications.
Isn't Vice call that a conspiracy theory, dude? That white farmers are being attacked?
I think it was.
I guarantee you they call it a far right conspiracy. I guarantee you Vox, Vice will call it.
Vox was the one that did that, yes.
Oh, yeah, they will. 100%, dude. It's a far right conspiracy to them.
Yeah.
You can't bring that up.
There was a left-wing publication that did that.
Oh, wow.
Should I take like one thing from right wing? Like if one publication that's right wing puts out something racist, should I say now all right wingers are racist?
I think the Democrats are anti-white.
If a right wing publication puts out something that's racist, should I now say that all right wingers are racist?
No.
That's what you're doing. You're saying because Vox put out something against the South Americans.
Literally, they all did. What are you talking about? It's not one. They all hated them. They're like, good. They're getting killed all over the place. I'm sorry you didn't see it. Like, I would love to see the lefty take on, well, yeah, we need to save the white farmer because it doesn't exist. It's like, obviously, no true Scotsman fallacy, dude, but it's just like when the entire, like, literally all media apparatuses, but one, who cares? They're all screaming it at you, dude.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, they are. I think they are, dude.
So you mean like when they talk about Black Lives Matter, they're doing anti-white stuff?
I don't think they are. They're doing anti-Israel thing. That's on their website. That's funny. But I don't think they're doing anti-white stuff. I don't really care about BLM. I mean, don't care in the sense that like they're like, dude, it's like a corporate shill thing. It got like $2 billion, dude. It's fucking a joke.
There are two separate things when it comes to BLM. There's the like protest and the movement, and then there's a corporation.
Vermont and the Bailey. I got it. We all know it's a giant wrestling show.
But the organization doesn't have anything to do with the movement.
How convenient. How convenient of them.
Even if it's convenient, there's still no reason to connect them when they don't help each other.
I never did. You're the one who brought up Black Lives Matter.
Right, because you're saying that there's lots of anti-white propaganda, and the only thing I can think of is Black Lives Matter.
Just showed you it, dude. I showed you the Black History Museum thing. I can bring you a fuck on. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm playing a game.
Hold on. The museum thing said stuff about like destroying the family and getting rid of like wives being subservient and stuff like that. Obviously, like
okay, now you're defending the sign.
I'm not defending it. I didn't say
I agreed with it. You are doing it right now. Listen to your own words, Tom.
I didn't say I agreed with it. I'm saying this isn't about white
these things instead. What are you talking about, Tom? You just defended it just now.
Okay, what was on that sign that was anti-white that I didn't see?
Bring it up.
All right.
Now, if you're a white person, Tom, and it says your culture, right? Your culture as a white person. Now, is it going to be anti-white if they say these are bad things? As your culture, as a white person, and it says white culture in the United States. Now it's going to list all the bad things. Is this anti-white? As a basic definition, Tom.
If it is part of white supremacy.
Oh, white! Whoa! Stop right there. Let's talk about white supremacy. We're talking about this poster.
You said whiteness. We've already defined whiteness as white
Culture
supremacy.
is not white supremacy, is it?
Not white culture. So
that's what this poster is. Wait! Stop where you're going. This poster is white culture, not white supremacy. Go on.
So it says aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. It is saying that.
Well, now,
hold on.
It's anti-white.
They are saying that whiteness is part of white culture. I've already said that white supremacy is part of white culture. I've already said this. So this is not anything different.
You can't even say it's anti-white. You're going to say, don't believe your eyes. Is that it's going to start listing off traits.
When you say it's anti-white, you're saying it's against white people. When I say, if I said it was anti-white, yes, I would be saying it's against white supremacy or whiteness. Or negative.
Well, there we go. That's the difference right there, Tom. That's our difference.
Yes, that is the difference.
And most people see it as my way. That's the problem with your stuff.
If it was most people,
in the whole country.
If it's most people, why do you keep saying that you see this stuff everywhere you go, that people are talking about it all over the place? If that was the case.
Why am I saying that? Because it's happening, Tom.
Why are they doing that? Like, why would media, like, why would CNN do this if most people disagree with them? They're
distraction to divide you, obviously.
Why,
like, is 101. Why do I have to describe?
Why does CNN want to divide
politics to you? Because you do it like for 10 hours a night, dude.
Why does CNN want to divide us?
CNN, because they're a shitty media company. I don't know.
But like, what do they have to gain from doing that?
Because they need views. Duh.
No.
Corporations, like, this is basic shit, Tom.
No, basic is me saying that they want views and therefore they shouldn't be doing something that most of the country disagrees with. That's basic. That's stupid to think, oh, well, they know most of the country disagrees with them, but they're going to do it anyways.
They do that all the time.
Like what?
All the time.
Like what?
White stuff. Wars, dude. Are you pro-war now, Tom?
Yes.
Are you fucking? Yeah, you're a fucking shill then.
I think war can be necessary.
Yeah, not 21-year ones in Afghanistan, Bush, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
To ask me if I'm pro-war and to now say that I'm pro all wars and you can just pick out any war and now I'm pro that.
What do you think I'm implying, dude? What the fuck are you think I'm implying? You think I'm talking about World War II that happened 70 years ago? Are you a fucking retard?
There are other wars.
I'm talking about the forever wars that everyone bitches about, Tom. Maybe they're not talking about them in jail, but everybody's talking about here. We're tired of the forever wars, Tom. Are you pro those?
I like the war with the Turks. I was pro that.
Fucking Tom, you're a joke, dude. You're jokes, bud.
What were you against with the Turkish war?
Turkish war.
The one that Trump pulled out all the troops right after sending them out there.
Syria? You mean Syria, Tom?
The Turks and the Kurds.
Yeah. What about it? I don't want anybody in the Middle East. Fuck the Middle East, Tom.
We're talking about whether or not there are wars that are justified and whether or not there are some modern wars before World War II that I could.
Syrian civil war to me, Tom. I don't care. Like, who cares? Are you really gonna neocon me now? Are you like gonna Liz Cheney me the fuck up here?
My claim was that there are wars that can be justified, and you said, "What? We're not going all the way back to World War II." And I'm saying there are some modern.
No, I'm
wars.
saying obviously I'm inflecting the forever wars that no one likes, that everyone says they suck. Why are we fucking over there, Tom?
Yeah, so like the Iraq War was bad.
That one, the Afghan one that we're still in.
Yeah, there are some wars that are bad. There are some wars that are good.
Hey, cool. Are you done with your like broadcaster spiel? Just talk to me like a person.
That's what I'm
Do you
doing.
like them or not?
That's what I'm doing. You are being tremendously like adversarial. I'm talking to you like a person. You're talking to me like I'm in a like you're fighting me.
I'm having fun, man. I'm just saying.
I'm having fun too, but you are the one who keeps saying, "Let's just have a conversation," while you're being very
You're saying
adversarial.
I don't have a position either way, and then you're like acting like being in the forever wars is a weird position. Like I'm against that. Yes.
Okay. White dominant culture or whiteness refers to the way white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. So when they say whiteness,
let's all acknowledge that's a good thing, right?
Okay. So when they say whiteness, they're including themselves. You're saying it's just against white people. They're saying it's against themselves as well.
That's who.
This, what I just read, it literally just said, including people of color.
Normalized and considered standard practice and blah, 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 blah. Internalized white culture includes, yeah, okay, what about it? I'm saying the anti-white because it starts saying that these things should be dismantled and abolished.
Right, but they're not saying because it's what white people do. They're saying it's because what they do.
You're saying my culture needs to be abolished. Does black culture need to be abolished?
They're saying it's not because of what white people do.
Culture need to be abolished.
They're saying it's not.
Sounding like a socialist now. It just sounds stupid.
They're saying it's not because of what white people do, because they're including themselves in this. It includes people of color. So it's not anti-white person.
This poster is anti-white. Yes, it is. It is anti-white person. It's anti-me and you.
But it includes them.
Correct.
So it's anti-everybody.
Yeah, but it's targeting me based on my skin color.
It's also targeting them.
Who cares? Can I write one if I was black saying like a bunch of racist shit about black people?
That would
you can't, Tom. That's the thing. No, you can't. You can't do a Jewish one and start with a bunch of Jewish things. You can't do that and have it put on the museum.
That would disproportionately hurt black people, where this doesn't really.
I don't care about hurt. I'm saying it's racist to me.
Okay.
So I'm saying some disproportionate bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
But what matters is the outcomes, and if it doesn't actually hurt.
No, that's not what matters to me. Is the outcome.
I gotta get through a sentence once in a while.
I'm not an outcome guy. You're an outcome guy. I'm an opportunity guy.
I'm
Peterson to learn.
Dude, I gotta be able to get through a sentence like once in a while.
I mean, come on, man. You're saying horseshit. You're just saying definitions. It's not a debate. We're talking.
But I'm not interrupting you at all. Even after you interrupt me, I stop and I let you get all the way through, and then I start talking. And then as soon as I start talking,
keep dribbling it out, and then you're saying, "Oh, I trapped
again." If they include themselves in this poster to say that they are also part of the problem, then they are not targeting white people. They're targeting what they call white culture and whiteness, which they participate in.
You think it's anti-white, Tom?
No, it's not anti-white.
Okay, then we don't see eye to eye on that.
I understand.
And I guess you'll never see anything anti-white. You'll just let the discrimination continue.
I've already acknowledged numerous things during this show while we've been talking that are anti-white.
Oh, you did end up defending the poster, by the way. You did end up defending the anti-woke poster. Move on.
No,
Moving on.
I didn't defend the poster. What I said was that what your characterization of this is, where it attacks white people, is incorrect when it includes people of
Because
color.
you're dancing with the words, Tom. I don't care. I said it's racist. It's anti-white. You can't even bring yourself to say it is. That's how blind you are, dude.
Why does it include people of color?
Does it say does it say black culture on the top, Tom?
The way you interpret whiteness
is black culture need to be abolished?
The way you interpret
does black culture need to be abolished? Would it be a racist for me to say black culture needs to be abolished?
The way you interpret whiteness.
Answer one of my questions, for fuck's sakes.
I am.
Would it be racist for me to say we need to abolish black culture and Jewish culture?
Would depend on what you meant by that.
No, it doesn't depend on it. It's because it's racist. It doesn't you don't get to add a but to it. It's just racist, dude. You're a racist.
When they say whiteness, they do not mean what you say they mean.
I don't give a shit. It's obvious what it means because they're talking out. You're talking out both sides of your mouth, dude. It's obvious to anyone listening. You have to play both sides. You're like, I think it's anti-white, but it doesn't mean what they say it means. What the fuck? Do you even listen?
No. It does mean what they say it means. Stop saying that. It does mean what they say it means. They say,
dude.
They say it means people of color included. It does mean what they say it means.
It says white culture on the top. It says it needs to be abolished.
Correct. And then they explain what that means.
We don't agree with it. It's racist.
Whether or not you agree with it or not does not mean that it doesn't say what they say it means, because they explain exactly what that means. They've already explained it.
Now you're in fucking lingo land again. You're a fucking idiot, dude.
If I say hubba baloo and you say, well, what is that? I get to tell you what it is that I'm talking about. You don't need to tell me what it is that I'm talking about.
Should black culture be abolished, Tom? Is that racist to say? Should lawsuits just have his culture abolished? Because that's what they want my culture to do.
Then why do they include themselves in it?
I don't care if they include it. They didn't say.
I didn't ask you if you care.
They culture at the top. It's a non-argument, dude.
I didn't ask you if you care. Why do they include themselves in it if it's about white people?
Say black culture at the top. Doesn't include them.
You can't answer the question.
Parentheses and small print, dude.
You can't answer the question. Why do they include themselves in it if it's about white people?
I don't care about their
I know you don't care. You can't answer the question.
I don't care about their horseshit rhetoric. It's all anti-white to me.
I know.
You can't see it.
Because you don't actually read words. You don't understand what it means. When they explain, this is what we mean when we say this, you don't get to turn around and say, no, that's not what they mean. I want it to mean what I want.
Because it's doing something completely different. It's a Mott and Bailey. That's why I told you that before.
If it was a
you will speak on both sides of your mouth. It's white supremacy, but it's this. It's also you going to church. It's bullshit, dude.
It can't both be a Mott and Bailey and they include themselves in it and it's targeting white people. Because if it's targeting people to hurt them, they're targeting themselves as well. That's ridiculous.
If they're just rich and don't give a fuck. And they don't care about hurting everyone else because they're rich as shit. Or they don't consider themselves white because they're Jewish. What about that? So they don't even care about hurting others. So they're like, oh, we'll include ourselves.
Lots of white people are Jewish. I mean, lots of Jewish people are white.
They don't agree with that, though. Some will argue they are. Some will argue they're not. I don't really care.
Whether they're rich or not, the point is that these people are including themselves in what it is that they're trying to abolish. They're including their own culture, they're including their own beliefs, they're including their own ways of life. They are targeting themselves just as much as they're targeting us, yet you call it racist when it includes people of color.
Tom, it's not targeting people of color because it's targeting white culture at the top. And you're saying that white culture is everybody culture now?
Within the United States, American culture has been pushed onto people of color who participate in it now. So yes,
Because they participate in our system, correct?
Correct. So they're not targeting white people.
They're targeting white people. It's white culture, aka white people. Who produced that culture, Tom?
Okay, white people produce the culture.
So, and who needs to be abolished, Tom?
They participate in it.
Who needs to be abolished?
White people also participate in black culture.
Who is the people that need to be abolished?
There are no people that need to be abolished.
What do they mean when they say abolish whiteness?
They mean abolish white supremacy.
White supremacy is you going to church.
Is that what it's?
So they got to abolish that, which is white supremacy.
Are we talking about the poster or are we talking about ICO now? You keep switching back and forth.
Talking about you going to church. That's white supremacy.
All right, so we're talking about ICO. I disagree with that.
Okay.
You're talking in circles. You can't back up your own points. You're saying things that even you don't believe, and then you.
Oh, I believe them because I live it. I don't talk in bullshit circles like you do for 9 hours.
You are talking in circles. You
are. Dude, I talk to people. Hey.
You have talked in circles this entire conversation.
Because you're trying to explain to me communist concepts that I don't even accept as reality. They're just bullshit communist concepts.
You don't accept your own concepts as reality, apparently.
Concepts. You just try to lingo trick me out of them. I don't care about your bullshit word games. I'm trying to say it. That's what you do. That's why it doesn't convince a lot of people. It's just a grift. You're kind of like Destiny and Vouch with it. It's just stupid. That's why it's a big kayfabe thing.
Most Americans believe in systemic racism.
It's like because 50% of people are Democrats. Duh.
And on top of that, there's more than just 50%.
Who cares?
You do, because you keep saying most people are against this stuff.
Are you saying that I should care more?
No, you keep saying you care because most people are against this stuff. Yet most people are for this stuff.
They're not. Most people are against this stuff. They don't want to hear about it all day. I hear from people like you talking nonsense.
But you can't refute it.
I'm not. I already did. I said it was horseshit made in the 50s by communists. That only people that read just read queer theory, dude. And that's like half of what your shit's based on. It's fucking hilarious. I'm not going to sit here and explain fucking Roman history to you when you're just going to change the words what they mean. So it's just stupid.
You can't explain Roman history to me.
I could.
Apparently not.
Why? Why not? Why couldn't I?
Well, one, you were given the opportunity right when we started talking. Two, on top of that, you can't.
I'm trying to have a discussion about oneness, and you're talking about. You want me to give you a spiel about Jews in the Roman Empire? What the fuck do you want me to say?
Because you're the one who keeps saying that we only use the last 300 freaking years. You're the one who keeps saying that it goes back farther, all the way to the Roman Empire. Yet you can't tell me anything about the Roman Empire.
Act like blacks are the biggest victims. They're not. They're just the most recent ones.
You can't refute it.
White people have been enslaved too.
You can't refute it. You can't refute anything I'm saying. You just start going back to some random.
I'm trying to have a conversation with you, you stupid fool.
No, you're saying that I'm wrong, and you can't explain why.
I am explaining why. You're just not listening to my words.
Not. When you say that I only go back 300 years, it goes back all the way to the Roman Empire, yet you can't explain what happened in the Roman Empire to where I should go all the way back to. This is you not explaining what it is you believe. This is you taking what it is that you're saying and just moving on to something else and saying, no, it's really about the fact that...
What do you want to know about the Roman Empire, Tom?
What is it that about racism that goes all the way back to the Roman Empire?
That they knew races existed, like Jews, Greeks, Egyptians. They knew race existed.
But they didn't have science. They didn't know about phenotypes. They didn't know about DNA.
Yeah, science changes perpetually.
There
Correct.
was no science.
I mean, okay.
Okay, so they didn't know race.
Like appealing to science doesn't strike me anyway. Like, who cares?
You've been appealing to science when you say it's about phenotypes and DNA.
But the appeal to science, that's a different appeal to science.
No, that's the same exact appeal to science. When you say that they knew that it existed, they would only know it exists within a social construct.
That's just an extra moniker, Tom. It's not the only thing.
It doesn't help your point. It helps my point.
It doesn't. I don't care about helping your point. I'm trying to have a conversation of why I hate anti-white shit.
And I'm trying to understand it.
No, you're not. You're trying to convince me. You're not having a conversation. You're trying to convince me.
I'm not trying to convince you.
Yes, you are. You're saying I'm wrong all the time.
I promise you, I am not trying to convince you. I'm trying to get you to explain your points in a coherent manner.
You're trying to get me to accept your points.
No,
I'm not going to.
I'm not trying to get you to accept my points. I'm trying to explain my points. When you say I'm wrong, I'm trying to get you to explain why I'm wrong, and you won't do it. If someone's going to tell me I'm wrong,
I can't even like. So what do I? So do you want me to send you anti-white material so you believe me?
Sure.
Okay, I will over the next few days then.
Okay. All right, baby.
And that'll be my definition. You can say it's not. A bunch of people I know agree with me.
It doesn't matter what they agree with. What matters.
Then why the fuck does it matter what your people believe then?
Because they're the ones who are talking about it. When you
yours is communist. I don't care about your communist shit.
That's irrelevant to the point.
It is relevant. It is relevant,
when
Tom.
You say that
it is relevant. Like, you keep saying that gender shit is not relevant when it's made by like a fucking pedophile that abused children. It is relevant. Some things minds come up with are wrong, and those are shit. And then you try to identify and bind entire theories to them. That's why it's stupid.
When they are the ones who you think are trying to hurt white people or trying to get rid of their culture, but when they define what they call whiteness as having nothing to do with those things, you cannot then turn around and say, well, that's what they mean anyways, without any proof, without any evidence. You
said whiteness is white supremacy.
Correct.
And it's also everything on that poster.
Okay.
So whiteness as a concept is shit because it also includes the most evil thing in the world and rugged individualism and having a fucking family. So I'm going to say your concept is a pile of garbage. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No one cares about that concept. Only batshit people that want to guilt you and shame you as a white person. That's the only people that care.
But that's not your claim. Your claim is that
that is my claim. I just fucking said it, Tom. Are you a retard?
Your claim is that they're trying to hurt white people, yet they don't care about white people.
Well, listen to me talk right now, Tom. I'm telling you what I'm fucking saying. Stop saying going back to claims and horse shit like that. Listen to what I'm saying. Do you agree with what I just said?
No. Why should I agree with your definition of these things when you can't show
You just said whiteness is white supremacy, correct?
Correct.
It's everything on that poster, correct?
I don't know. I never actually got into the poster because you wouldn't get off the single point that
you were the one who brought up the fucking retarded paragraph in the poster. My point still stands on the poster. You won't even address it. So you brought up the bullshit paragraph in it as a nominal. It's nothing. Like the poster's anti-white. You agree that whiteness as a concept, quote unquote, is happening And is white supremacy okay? So it's white supremacy and it's going to church and having a family with parents and stuff. It's just like, dude, it's a Mott and Bailey. It's a bait and switch. Easy slam dunk. You lose, dude.
All right. You got me. I appreciate you coming on, Bailey.
Like, is that poster anti-white or not?
I don't know. I didn't get through it, and I got to go now.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. If you said abolish black culture, it would be fine, right?
Yes.
Okay, then.
We
When Lao Tzu comes in here whining, oh, why isn't anybody talking about the Indians? Every fucking 2 seconds, you can be like, well, I want to abolish that culture because it's horseshit and they ate people. Just like fucking Doobie did. You should have stand Doobie for that, dude. Oh, I know you're laughing for that.
for what you said about Lasso, the
He is literally Homer Simpson, dude.
the
Like, I'd rather just fucking joke around with you, dude. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, the people you bring on are characters.
Yeah, but when I talk to them, I talk to them about the parts that I disagree with them on.
I get it. I know, but it's just like, I'm tired of anti-white bullshit, and you're just like, I don't see it. Where is it? Just like, dude, it's on a poster in the fucking museum. Like, come on, dude.
But you're saying that that is trying to hurt white people, yet it includes people of color.
It says white culture on the top, doesn't say black culture, it doesn't say people of color culture, BIPOC, people, colored people.
But it does say that it includes people of color.
Yeah, in the smallest fucking print ever. And then really doesn't, because you're never going to talk to a black person like and say, oh, you have whiteness going on. Just so stupid.
Ico did.
So fucking retarded, dude.
Ico said that it included her.
Oh, okay.
I appreciate you coming on, Bailey.
Okay, man, but really, dude, like Lao Tzu, don't have that guy anymore, dude. He sucks.
I like
Lao
him.
Tzu,
We're friends.
well, dude, like
I
he
disagree
literally
with him.
Homer Simpson in that episode crying, like, why aren't we talking about Indians every 2 seconds?
I like what I disagree with him on a lot of things. I disagree with you on a
He
lot of
literally
things.
has like an ethno-nationalist thing that you stand for.
I mean, when I talked about
You want his
ethno-nationalism,
ethno-state to be a real thing.
didn't you say that ethno-nationalism was based?
Like, dude, it's just fucking funny to see you freak out about it, dude.
I didn't freak out about it.
Yeah, you did. You fucking started saying shit, and you're like, I can't believe this guy.
That didn't happen.
Oh my god.
That didn't happen.
But it's just like the same with the Chris Hayes dude. Like, it's just like you guys say the same. Like, the Chris Hayes guy literally says the same thing that the MSNBC anchor says, and I'm just dogging him on that. I don't care. It's just like, come on, guys, get some original material here. Just stop saying what the leftists are saying. Come on. I know you're a conservative, social, suck them, something, but let's have some fun here. Rustle some Jimmys online other than mine.
The reason that we keep saying these things is because when we try to have conversations with other people or have debates with them on it, they can't refute these points. They can't explain their points, and they can't explain why we're wrong. And so we're going to keep saying those things until somebody can explain to us why we're wrong.
I'm saying it's racist.
And that's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And being racist is bad and evil.
We disagree on that point.
I mean, dude, you're disagreeing. Like I walk with me anywhere, and I'll be like, okay, well, he says he's racist. Does that, like, you just agree that you're racist? I don't get it. What's going on in your mind?
I didn't say that I'm racist. I said that
Well, do you agree with being racist and having racist policies? So
the
you're a
way
racist.
that you define racism Yes, I think that some aspects,
Which is the common definition term, like not the one with bullshit privilege over power that was made up within the last 10 years.
Sure. And within that, there are some aspects that are good.
You can't name a good racist policy.
We talked about earlier about how black people being able to get into college, help.
That's not a good one. That's not good.
It has
you
good
think it's good.
outcomes.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have good outcomes. Those people are actually talk about how embarrassed they are because people know that they're affirmative action hires.
Statistically speaking, it is.
They literally say this in most interviews. They complain about it. You just have to listen to them. So they actually hate affirmative action. Most of them that take it because they think they're looked down upon.
I've heard people talk about
it.
I've heard people talk about it and say that it's a bad thing, but statistically speaking, it has good
Statistically
outcomes.
speaking is horseshoes and hand grenades, dude. You're just talking out of your ass.
No, we're talking about statistics.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like hundreds of interviews I've heard of black people like complaining, and these are progressive black people too.
I don't care.
Oh, good. No, that's good. You don't care what black people think. I got it.
I don't. Like they can come on. Like if if Candace Owens wants to come on and tell me about how like black people should vote for Donald Trump and how he's so much better for black people, I'm not going to care then either. Like there's statistics that show that you're wrong. I don't care that your skin color makes you think that you're right, but all in all, I can look
to people that want affirmative action. Just use that argument for me. Okay.
Say that again.
What you're using for Candace Owens, use that one for me in affirmative action. In your mind.
I am. I'm saying I don't care what black people say. I care what statistics
have
say.
That program.
I care.
That's what Candace Owens is saying. My thing that we shouldn't have that program.
Right, and I'm saying I don't care what Candace Owens says. I care what statistics say. I don't care what black people say. I care what statistics say. There are black people out there who say systemic racism doesn't exist. I don't care. I care what statistics say.
Statistics don't say black systemic racism is real. They don't say that.
Yeah, they do.
No, statistics don't talk. You talk. You make the bullshit interpretation up in your mind. No. That's what I'm trying to say. You're just saying numbers. Like you literally just walked into this, dude. Come on. Statistics don't say anything. It's the people who say it. And the people are biased and they hate white people.
All right. You beat me with facts and logic, bro.
Thanks, dude. I didn't even want to. I know I had a stand in Ben Shapiro for the day.
Well done.
Wasn't as Jewish as he could have been, but
yeah,
you know.
That's true. You'll get there one day, buddy. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it's okay that she's fine, and I don't know if I'll watch anymore. It's just like if you're just gonna say the same shit and then ponder, like you literally just ponder about what your bullshit political fictions are. You're just a lefty, dude. Just admit that you're a lefty. Get on your knees. Go kiss ankles and ankles and shit, or whatever you gotta do for that clout and that internet money. You know.
I don't make any money though, so like
maybe you will if you just keep throwing us under the bus and say shit like that.
All right, man. I'll do that.
I might log in the future. I don't know.
I'll see you around.
Have a good one. Don't ignore my comments. They're funny.
Okay. All right, man. Later.
Yeah, I don't hate you. You're fun. Have a good one.
Later. That was cancer. I don't know, wasn't here for either, really. Telling you right now, race realism, more annoying than crazy. Yeah. I mean, I think the race realism conversation was good. Oh yeah, so he was super focused on the difference between culture, so I wanted to see if I could get him to make the connection that it's because of material culture. I don't think he was super focused on culture so much. He kept saying that they were, his main thing was that the leftists are trying to, like, that they hate white people and that they're all racist against white people and they're trying to end white people. Like, they literally just want to, like, genocide white people. I have a massive pimple on my face right now. This guy right here. I thought about popping it today. Got the needle out, got some tweezers out, got some creams out, got my wipes out. I was getting ready to destroy this freaking dude. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Like, I have control over my whole face. Like, I can do whatever I want with my face, my body. Like, this pimple can't choose what it does, right? It has no options here. It can't choose whether or not it's on my face or if it moves to the other side, or it has no options. I'm in control of this thing. And then I thought, I don't try to get rid of other parts of my skin. Like, I don't have problems with other parts of my skin in any way. Only the part with the pimple on it. Isn't that prejudice? Right? This is prejudice. And if I'm the one in control of whether or not the pimple stays or goes, then that's power. And prejudice plus power equals racism. So I decided to keep the pimple. I don't want to be a racist. So I kept the pimple. It's staying. I've named it Peter Pantsoff. Get used to it. Just got done with a race realism debate. Let me actually read the rest of this thing. Okay. Aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. White dominant culture or whiteness refers to ways white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over the time and are now considered standard practices in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. So that's why I kept saying to him, including people of color, meaning like they're not trying to get rid of freaking white people. It says right there, including people of color. Like, this isn't against white people. It includes everybody. So then it says rugged individualism. So the individual is the primary unit, self-reliance, independence and autonomy, highly valued and rewarded. Individuals assumed to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve. So individualism is important in white supremacy. I one of the reasons I call myself right-wing and conservative is because I value the individual. So this part I will disagree with. Family structure. The nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children, is the ideal social unit. Ah, crap. What did I just do? What the heck did I just do? What is this? The Center for Ants? Okay, here we go. Husband is breadwinner and head of household. Wife is homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Children should have own rooms, be independent. I don't understand their issue here. Children should have their own rooms and be independent. What's the issue with that? Why is that white supremacy? Like, why does that matter? I don't get that part. Alright, then emphasis on scientific method. Objective, rational, linear thinking. Cause and effect relationships. Quantitative emphasis. What is the issue with this? I don't understand. Why are they listing this? Like, why is this a problem? History, based on Northern European immigrants' experience in the United States. Heavy focus on the British Empire, the primary of Western Greek, Roman, and Judeo-Christian values or traditions. Protestant work ethic. Hard work is the key to success. Work before play. If you didn't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. I mean, this is more about like what's it called? This is more about like being or having some like work ethic. Get ready, Tom, because science is white supremacy. Yeah, apparently. So, okay, so they're not saying abolish white people in this. They're just naming off things that are a part of white culture. Okay, that's fine. That's not... Nowhere on here does it say abolish this stuff. Okay. All right, that's cool. Who created this poster? It's in a museum somewhere, according to Behaler. National African American Museum. They still believe it. They believe what, though? Like, they believe that those are parts of white culture? That's fine. They didn't say eradicate white culture or abolish white culture anywhere on the poster.